Of breakfast.
From news headlines review, current affairs to social issues,
entertainment, sports, and all the trending stories live on our mobile app and across all socials from Monday to Friday 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
With me, Pakwesi Omare,
Regina Bless,
Deborah Adoso,
and I am Esinal Fiagbedu. This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show, your morning companion. This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show, your morning companion. This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show, your morning companion.
Good morning to you. It's a blissful Wednesday morning, and you're welcome to the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show right here on Ghana Talks Radio. This is the news review, and right here we bring you all the latest headlines making waves in the news. From business to politics, from sports to entertainment, we got you covered with the most relevant stories and informed perspectives on issues that matter to you every morning, right here on the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. Remember that you're streaming live on Facebook at Ghana Talks Radio, on YouTube at Ghana Talks Radio, and also on X at Ghana Talks Radio. Do all to log on, send in your comments, let's get interactive right here on the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. My name is Ruth Esenam Fiagbedu, and I'll be serving you breakfast this morning with Miss Regina Bless and Miss Debbie Adoso, who will be joining us shortly. Good morning to you, Miss Regina.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm good by grace, your side.
I'm fine. You're looking good in blue, 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 blue.
Thank you. You're looking good in black and white.
Black and white.
Television.
It's midweek. The weekend is almost here. I guess you're already tired for the week already.
Yeah.
And we all can't wait for the weekend to be here. Miss Debbie. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Right. Let's get into the issues this morning. Free SHS may face 72,000 placements gap in 2026. EdWatch. Africa Education Watch, EdWatch, is warning that Ghana's free SHS and TVET system could face serious placement challenges in 2026. According to the group, the number of students who qualify for senior high schools may exceed the available spaces in schools. More students may pass the BEC than the system can accommodate. EdWatch estimated that about 620,000 students sat for the 2025 BEC. Around 607,000 are expected to qualify for placement. There could be a shortage of about 72,000 students' school placements or spaces if no action is taken. The organization says transition efficiency, meaning the percentage of students successfully moving from junior high school to senior high school, has dropped from 92% in 2024 to 82% in 2025. EdWatch believes several factors are contributing to the possible crisis, including reduced school intake due to the gradual removal of the double-track system, unequal distribution of vacancies across schools, geographic challenges affecting placements, and limited support from private SHS integration efforts. The group warns that without urgent reforms, the 2026 admission process could expose major weaknesses in Ghana's secondary education system. So 72,000 placements gap in 2026. That is what Edward is saying that government is likely to face due to the fact that they took off the double track. Miss Regina, do you think it was a good idea taking out the double track?
So I would say, looking at the issues arising due to double track, I think it was best they took it off, because why should my child go to school for a very short period of time and come back home and spend almost like spend more time than the time he or she spent in school. So I think it was a good thing they took the double track system off. And I'll also say, looking at the double track, they did not really should I say structure or plan it very well, because if they had, I know that when it comes to policies, issues arise, but before you bring up a policy, you need to look at how your friend said, the long sustainability or the long term of it, and also check the issues that would arise. If these issues arises, what can we do to solve these issues? But it looked like under the free SHS, they only implemented it without making sure that issues that would arise could be solved structurally or amicably. And also the double track system, I would say it's a no-no. It might be a good thing on some aspects, but it's a no-no for me, because there's no way. And at the end of the day, you take your child to school for like 1 month, they come home, spend like 2 months, 3 months at home, and you would have to enroll them in extracurriculum activities again,
Classes.
and which is another course. And if SHS, no, how is it free SHS? So I think it was a very good thing they took it off, because double track there, I know that in some institutions or in the Western world, some people still do double track, but as a nation, Ghana, do we have the resources to do the double track? No, the answer is no, we don't have it. So I think it's a good thing they took it off.
And we've also seen that the number of students that are enrolled in SHS has reduced from 92% to 82%. What do you think could be the challenge, or could be the reason why the number has reduced? Is it that students are tired, or they decided to venture into skills?
Okay,
vocational training?
probably in as much as it's still free SHS, some people still have challenges. And if the school is free, I don't have the transport fare. Mind you, you are not just going empty-handed because it's free SHS. There are certain little things you need to acquire for your kids. And some of these students, mind you, they are taking care and fending for themselves. I saw a video on social media, I think that was early this year, where a young lady and the mom was in I think it was a taxi, yes, and they were crying. They no mukita sack kutokoi efira aswame enubi. It was empty. So a young man took a video and asked the woman why she was crying. She said she didn't have money to buy any provision for the child. So the child was just going to school like that with an empty bag.
So as a mother, how do you expect your child
exactly? So I was like, I understand the fact that your mama, but we have provision. Why didn't you provide long time? So sometimes some of these are factors, but I wouldn't blame the government. It is individual responsibility. The government have done their part of it, but now it is individual responsibility. And also some of these students would want to drop out and venture into a business. I saw one young lady in our area. The moment she went for 1 year, she didn't go again, and she started braiding her hair. And I was like, have you completed school? She said no, Monsieur Juma. And I was like, oh wow, that's nice.
That's also okay.
Because 3 years you are going to go to school for SHS certificate is good, but you go back for university certificate again, you are now come to look for a job. And looking at our how do we call it? Our system these days, it's not favorable to the youth. So it's better you start something now.
Yeah, it's better you start something now. But I would advise that before you even go into the skill, at least try and get a SHS certificate. Because with that, when you decide to go or upgrade to the tertiary level, it will be easy for you. You don't have to now. Okay, you can.
And
write
I think we still have the your friend is saying vocational sector in the SHS.
Yeah, so you can opt.
So what if everyone wants to venture into the vocational aspect? Who would go for the general arts, the science, the businesses?
I have a strong feeling that a time will come where a lot of people will engage themselves into entrepreneurship and vocational skills.
Yeah,
knowing very well that you finish school, you get your certificate, and you don't have a job. Like, you're not getting a job. You are looking for a job. You don't even know where to search anymore. So you ask yourself, so why don't I learn something, learn a skill? And then once I know that once I'm maybe done with the training, I have that skill, I can set up a business or even work for somebody.
Yeah.
You sit in classroom for how many years? SHS plus university. That's almost like 8 years. 7 years or 8 years.
1
if I'm
year,
not,
national service.
1 year not wash. We are now ukita CV. Now chin. Like, it's hard. The system is not really favorable to the youth, as Miss Regina mentioned. Miss Debbie, it looks like the students are now more than the schools we have, and the private SHS are not equally helping. And then due to that, this is actually the gap that the government is likely to face. They finished writing BC, and I believe in the next 3 months, people will start mounting at schools for placements and then all of that. And it's likely that we will see what we saw
last year.
We will see it again. What do you think the government can do better?
I think the best thing the government has to do is to focus more on building infrastructure, and as well collaborate with these private sectors. I don't agree with you when you say the private schools are not doing much. They are, but the issue is the private institution, they are on their own. So even if you are done writing the BEC and then you prefer the private school more than the government school, be rest assured that you will pay, because it's not free. We have some private schools that are in partnership with the government, and the government takes part of the fees. That is, if you want to enroll in a private senior high school, and then you are going to pay half. So if in case, say, you are supposed to pay maybe 1,000 cedis for school fees per a term, it will be slashed. So you pay something like maybe 500 or maybe 550 cedis. That is, the government has taken part of the cost. But not all private schools are into this free senior high school. So if you want to enroll your child in a free senior high school, but then you want him or her to be in a private school, then you will need to pay. So I think the best thing the government can do is you collaborate with these private schools. Then you sit down. I remember some time ago, the Association of Private Schools called on the government that they want to partake in a free senior high school. But then I don't know how far they've gone with the meeting they had. But then I feel like the government should sit with these private schools and then, talk things out with them. How can they go about it? And they should find a possible way of drawing a positive result or a positive conclusion at the end of the meeting. This is a case where the population is increasing, so we should be expecting more than this next year, and then in the coming years, things are not going to get better, or students are not going to reduce. And as much as we've heard that a lot of students, or maybe percentage of some students have dropped out of school, the number is still high. So it should tell you that since the population is increasing, people are giving birth and students are being enrolled in most of the schools. So we have limited infrastructure. We don't have enough of these schools. How many government SHS do you know? Most of these private schools private senior high schools are even making more name than the government schools. The old government senior high schools we know are still in the system. We've not heard of any new addition of new senior high schools being added to the previous ones we had. So for me, the best thing the government can do is to build more. And that is why when this current administration came on board for their first term, they brought the e-block. And it really helped. I'm telling you, this community day school is helped a lot. It was after the government left when MPP came on board. They brought senior high school. Even with that, with the red, go green, students were still struggling for a place to lay their head because the population was much. And with this e-block, it helped them. But now it's not as if even the community day senior high school is full. So the government needs to bring something on board, and the best solution is to build more schools, is to expand it. You cannot be thinking like yesterday. The schools we have that used to accommodate the population of Ghanaian students back then is not what we have now. As I said, we are increasing in numbers, and so we need to expand our infrastructure. We need to expand the schools so that we can take in the students. Because trust me, no one, you wouldn't write BEC and then want to be in the house. And then looking at the number, if that is supposed to happen, then it's like about 72,000 of these students wouldn't get any school, or it's either you go, but you have to be coming from the house, because there is no school that is going to house you, because even the dormitory they have are full. It's not much. Then if that happen, you will need to enroll yourself in the senior high school in your community and not outside the community. Yes, I'm home so I feel like the best solution is to build more schools, and then collaborate with the private schools, because the government cannot do it alone.
Right, the government cannot do it alone, so they have to collaborate with the private schools as well. We are just hoping that this year's placement is not going to be hectic and humorous like what we saw the last time. Abandoning 1D1F has worsened youth unemployment. The minority leader in parliament, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, says Ghana's growing youth unemployment problem has become worse because the government did not continue the One District, One Factory initiative. He believes the program could have created more jobs and supported businesses if it had been maintained or expanded. Mr. Afenyo-Markin argued that the current government failed to take advantage of the economic stability and goodwill it inherited after assuming office. According to him, the 1D1F program introduced under the former president Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo encouraged private sector investment and industrial growth through tax incentives and government support. He further claimed that government has not introduced a strong alternative policy after discontinuing the program. He says the initiative was important because unemployment remains one of Ghana's biggest challenge, especially among the youth. He also revealed that during a recent meeting between the Minority Caucus and the Association of Ghana Industries, business leaders raised concerns about stalled projects linked to the 1D1F initiative. Supporters of the program argued that it helped promote local manufacturing, industrialization, and job creation across different districts. However, critics of the policy in the past questioned issues such as sustainability, funding, and the long-term impact of some of the factories. And this comment has renewed debate over Ghana's industrialization agenda and the best strategies of tackling youth unemployment. This is from Afenyo-Markin. He said it's because this government has actually failed to continue with the 1D1F. That is why we are seeing the rampant rise in unemployment among the youth. Mr. B?
I want to ask the minority leader just one question. How many people were they able to employ during their term in government? And why will you start a project and intentionally not complete it and leave it for another government to continue for you?
Do you think it was intentional?
It was intentional. Yes, I see it as so. Because why will you bring out a policy? You went to parliament, you budgeted for that policy, and then you told us that this is the amount of money that can be used in the completion of this project. The money was disbursed. What happened? Why are they not able to complete the 1D1F? I want to know. Because you cannot just wake up and then say that because this government is refusing to complete 1D1F, and that is why there is rise in unemployment. As if during the previous administration there was nothing like unemployment. If they were able to employ a lot of people, we shouldn't be struggling by now. The number of people who should be crying for unemployment or should be pouring out their grievances because they are not being employed should be few. And it's because you did not do the right thing. I'm not against any government completing the project of another government, but this is what I'm saying. You don't bring a project on board with the intention not to complete it and then expecting another government to complete for you. For me, I say it to be intentional. Because if any government, whether MPP or NDC, if you bring a policy on board, you should be able to complete that project within your 4-year term. There shouldn't be an instance where you will not complete it. And even if you didn't complete it, come and explain to us why you were not able to complete it. What that money has been used for. The money that has been allocated for 1D1F, how much of it was used in the 1D1F project? Why didn't we complete it? Why out of the Agenda 111 project, the few of the project, the one district one factory they claimed was completed? How many of them? Why shall I say small number? Out of 111, why do we have say? So I don't know, but let me just use my mind to say something. So let's just say they were able to complete 10. So out of 111. Why 10? Because you told us that
this is 1D1.
1D1F. So every district, how many districts do we have in this country? And also, I don't want to use my mind to say something, mention any number because I don't have the fixed number in mind. But and also, so let's just put it that way: one district, one factory. How many of the districts we have in Ghana have that factory? They said they wanted to build a Gary factory in my district, my constituency. They didn't do anything.
They didn't collaborate with any private.
They didn't do anything. Nothing to show. And even the one at Dambai, that they are so of themselves claiming that they've brought out a recycling, whatever. It was a collaboration between the government and the private institution. That recycling was there for a number of years. They just collaborated, and most of this one district, one factory that they are so bold of that they've completed. It's not something they started on. It's as if me being an entrepreneur and I've started my business, and then the government comes to me that, oh, I want to help you, I want to push in money, complete it, and then employ people. That is it. One district, one factory was one of the best initiatives so far. Because if every district should have a factory, when you take this district, you look at the district, you survey the district. What is common here? Maybe let me take my place for instance. If you go to the OT region, it's yam, it's cassava. So cassava is common, and gari is common. So gari is less expensive, yam is less expensive. So more time, traders will complain because they have it in abundance and they don't get customers to purchase their produce. So what do? Okay, fine, let's get them a factory that is going to process this raw materials, and then at the end of the day the government will buy it from these local farmers and then export it out. And building that factory alone is going to employ people from my district. So in a way it's reducing unemployment, and by the time we get to know it, unemployment will decrease. But they just brought out the initiative and nothing. Now you want to blame the current government. The more reason why I'm getting angry is because they are making it look as if the government is not willing to do it. It's not willing to fulfill the grievances of the ordinary Ghanaian, and one of their topmost grievances has to do with unemployment. So they just want to make it look as if the government is doing nothing. I'm not trying to back this current administration, but what I'm saying is that even during your administration, there was unemployment. What did you do? Any MPP communicator that will come here today, ask them for me. What did they do with unemployment? How many people did they employ? Even the people they claim they employed, the number they gave us was false.
Right. Miss Gina, your thought on what Afenyo is saying?
So, Afenyo Makin. Asamo. Okay. This is think twice. I'm thinking twice before I open my mouth. Okay, so when it comes to opinions are like nurses. Everyone has one. So that is his opinion, and we should not bash him for that. But where we would bash him is for him saying that 1D, 1F being neglected has worsened youth unemployment. Ms. Debbie has said a lot. During the administration, they brought up this initiative, they brought up this policy that, one district, one factory in every district would help the youth gain access to jobs. And when we look at factories, most of the factories that operate, they operate on the basis of day and night. So it could have at least employed a lot of people. I did not see any building that was being erected in that period. I didn't know. But what I heard of was they partnering with some of these private business owners or business or those factories and all that. They partner with the government and employ more people. That is what I heard. But for that, I didn't even know how far it went. When you ask any of these NPP communicators, the only thing they can tell you is, yes, it is operating. In this district, they have this. And in total, someone can even tell you, say, almost like 200 and say 100 and something, 1D, 1F. But you and I know that talks are lies. Probably, should I say, a hidden mansion somewhere is employing all these people. But I don't think it's right for Afenyo Makin to say that because this current administration neglected it. And how have they even neglected it in the first place? Is it the duty? But is it the duty of a current administration who also has policies to also implement? We are not saying that they should neglect any of this one district, one factory, because at the end of the day, it is taxpayers' money, and taxpayers' money is not for any of the NPP or NDC. It is for the government, so they need to continue it. But where is it to continue? That is the issue. At least for Agenda 111, we've seen evidence that Omwesi, Sam, Ebiwo Omwesi, the building is there. This is the building of Agenda 111. So they can continue it. But one district, one factory, where is the building? Have they built any? Because we have not seen any one district, one factory building. So he needs to come out and clarify very well what he wants the government to do. To start from scratch, or to continue what they started. And that continuing in where is it? How do they want them to continue? Ms. Debbie said that money was allocated specifically for for that policy, for that initiative. And I can boldly say that money was just used for personal gains, because if we can't see the benefits of that money, then it means there's something fishy somewhere. A lot of questions needs to be done, and a lot of answering also needs to be done. So they have a lot to tell us. He's digging a pit for himself, and he will fall in very soon.
Right, let's proceed to our last news item. Acting Rent Commissioner accuses hostel operators of exploiting students through utility charges. The acting commissioner, Frederick Opoku, has criticized some private hostel operators for what he described as unfair utility charges imposed on students. He says some hostel owners are overcharging students by adding fixed electricity and utility fees to hostel rent, even when the buildings use prepaid electricity meters. According to Mr. Opoku, students should be allowed to buy and manage their own electricity instead of paying a general utility fee included in accommodation cost. He argues that the current system is unfair, especially in shared rooms where students may use different amounts of electricity. For example, he questioned why a student without a refrigerator and another student who uses more electricity should pay both the same utility charges. The acting rent commissioner believes some hostel operators use these bundled charges to increase hostel fees under the excuse of operational cost. His comments come at a time when many tertiary university students across Ghana are complaining about high hostel fees, rising accommodation costs, and expensive utility charges near university campuses. Due to limited space in public university halls, many students depend on private hostels, increasing demand and pushing higher prices. Mr. Opoku says while hostel operators have the right to make profit and recover costs, students must also be treated fairly and transparently. He emphasized the need for stronger rent regulation and proper assessment of hostel charges to protect students from exploitation. Why do you people do that, landlords? Why should electricity fees or utility bills be added to your accommodation money? So what if I travel for 1 month? That means that Sanskana Shiegwana said there. Because why do you do that? And then yesterday we heard from Mr. Zamani saying that some rooms are not even up to standard and they call them hostel facilities. Really?
Of course.
Come in.
Some rooms are not up to the standard. He's right. Because if you go to some hostels, you will be shocked to know that mosquito net
It's serious. So
mosquito net is used to let me just say, you see, they call something lintel level, right? Where the what's the name? Can you see? Just look at this. Where the wires, there's no board, so they use mosquito net for all this place, and the students are sleeping in here.
Why do you do that?
And then the money they are charging is very, very huge. But you see, when this whole thing started, if you look at some hostels, I feel like the money they take is dim fit. You have to take a personal decision. If you know that your money is not up to you, you look for a hostel that is up to your standard. Now, I realized something, that when this man was going around, he went to a hostel where they have AC in the room. I think 2 or 1 in a room. It has a kitchen. And I was like, so if they're taking 4,000, they so be it. Because you went in for a hostel that has AC. They've already provided you bed. You don't come. Do you know some hostel you don't come with your mattress? Yeah. There is bed in the room for you. The only thing you have to come, there is wardrobe. You have to come with only your bag, your foodstuffs, because there is kitchen, and then you are sharing. You are only two in a room. So with that, I feel like it's okay, because if you look at the price they are taking, and then the hostel, it's quite okay. But then when you take Yanumu hostels, Yibi, no AC, no nothing. You have 4 or 5 in a room, nothing like kitchen. You are sleeping in the same room, and then the corridor is your kitchen. And this hostel, whether they are caretakers, whether they are caregivers, whoever they are taking more than they are supposed to. And then where they extort money from this student is through utility. Is it utility bills or G's? Utility fees. So they'll pass it through that, and then they'll take more. They'll add water, they'll add boiler, they'll add lights, and they'll add everything together. Then they'll ask you to pay, say, maybe 500. And then you pay that. You won't even see a common. What's the name? Those who clean the for cleaner. You won't even see a cleaner in that hostel. And then those things are being done by the student themselves, but they are taking money for it. And light bill is prepaid, but you are still paying for it. I remember my hostel. So maybe this place plus the other apartments, you are sharing like maybe 1 meter. And so every week you are buying prepaid. Every week you are buying prepaid, and that is because some students are using refrigerator, some students are using a rice cooker, some students are using things that are like, you get it. So you end up paying more than you're supposed to. But in some hostels, you don't buy your own light; they take it out of the money you pay. So they'll add everything together, and then it's more like, it's just insane. But you have to, because you need to lay your head. You need to find a place where you can lay your head so you feel comfortable and learn. And sometimes what parents say, they'll be like, and yes, see 4 year pay. But you see, that 4 year, that money you'll be spending within that time frame. If your dad wants to invest that money into estate development, by now your dad is a billionaire. I'm telling you, he's a billionaire, because I feel like it's becoming too much. But you see, they cannot be blamed. If the government has built more hostels, and then it's not being left for these private developers, this wouldn't have happened. This issue can only be solved if the government has built a lot of hostels where they can accommodate the students. It wouldn't get here. So the fact that they said they are going to partner with private developers, estate developers, so that they will build this, I'm just hoping that in this short time frame they will do that.
The promises are
and
becoming too much. Miss Regina.
So it is well. I think the only thing they can do, if possible, the university should at least construct a hostel buildings for these individuals. I know they have it, but I thought that the population becomes the problem. But they should try their possible best. And for these landlords that exploit from these children, are they not ashamed of themselves? Me, I will not pay. Then I'll sleep outside.
Yeah, joking, no?
Or better still, I'll be coming
by the time
from,
you pay, you don't even realize.
No, sometimes it's just you reasoning and thinking far before you take a step. Let's say that amount of money plus the bills you are paying, it can rent around. And that amount of money they are paying for that hostel fee for a term, you can get it elsewhere for like, is it 2 years or 1 year? And at the end of the day, on whole song, but I can see some chape.
No, let me just small with what she said. In a way, I don't really agree with her, because maybe you are coming to Accra for the first time. You want to rent. Your school is at Legon. You are not getting. Sometimes you don't even get to rent in Legon, or like around that environment. You don't get to rent there. You get somewhere like outside, and then you have lectures at 8. By the time you wake up from wherever you've gotten, wherever you've rent a place to the school, you are already late. And that is why sometimes it's quiet, okay, if you find a place within the school environment. So the renting there is good, though. But how sure are you? Well,
how sure are you? Thank you so much, Miss Regina. Miss Debbie, thank you for joining me on the news review. Up next, we have Today in History with Miss Regina Bless.
Bringing you today in history and some global observances live on GhanaTalks Radio. 1846, the U.S. Congress formally declared war on Mexico, initiating the Mexican-American War following disputes over the Texas boundary and President Polk's claim of Mexican aggression. This action led to a 2-year conflict ending in 1848 with massive U.S. territorial gains. To some few global observances, Cough Drop Day, to recognize the history and soothing benefits of throat lozenges, which have been used to relieve coughs and sore throat for thousands of years. It serves as a reminder to soothe throat irritation, though experts advise limiting intake to 6 to 10 drops per day. Donate a day's wages to charity, encouraging people to donate 1 day's salary to fight poverty and support global causes. It is a movement focusing on equal generosity, where individuals calculate their daily income and give it to trusted charities. National Receptionist Day, to recognize the essential contributions of receptionists in ensuring smooth office operations, providing excellent customer service, and setting a positive, welcoming tone for organizations. It is a time to thank these professionals for their role as the face of the office. Lastly, National Root Canal Appreciation Day, to highlight the benefits of root canal therapy and celebrate the dental professionals who perform them. The day aims to dispel myth that root canals are painful, framing them instead as essential tooth-saving and pain-relieving procedures. And that's all for today on Today in History and some global observances, live on Ghana Talks Breakfast Show.
Much Miss Regina Bless for Today in History and some observances of the day. Up next, we have Debbie's Grill.
Welcome to Debbie's Grill, where we talk about issues that matter the state, void of politics, fear, or favor. Executive Director of Africa Education Watch, Kofi Asare, has criticized the continued payment of teacher trainee allowances, describing the policy as wasteful and financially unsustainable. According to him, the resources being used to fund the allowances could be redirected into more productive areas within the education sector, particularly the recruitment and payment of additional teachers. Speaking in an interview, Mr. Kofi Asare argued that Ghana must begin re-evaluating long-standing education policies that consume significant public funds without necessarily delivering the best outcomes for the country's education system. He maintained that teacher trainee allowances no longer serve the original purpose and should be scrapped in favor of investment that directly strengthen teaching and learning in schools. The allowance is wasteful. We won't discuss it again. Everybody knows it is wasteful. That amount can be invested into about 400 teachers every year. If we cancel the allowance today, that is, the equivalent is paying close to 400 teachers' salary in a year. And the next one is the 500 million allowance paid to nursing trainees. The teacher trainee allowance policy was reintroduced to provide financial support for students in colleges of education and encourage more people to enter the teaching training profession. Beyond the issue of training allowances, Kofi Asare also called for major reforms in Ghana's teacher recruitment system. He advocated replacing the current approach of automatic teacher recruitment after graduation with what he described as a demand-driven teacher employment system. According to him, teachers should only be recruited based on specific vacancies and the actual needs of schools and districts rather than through blanket posting. So, Edward has brought up, shall I say he has brought up a point? No, this is not a point, a suggestion that the teacher trainee allowances should be scrapped, it should be cancelled. And that is because government is paying more. And according to him, the money will be used can be used to pay more teachers and as well divert the money into some deficits or challenges facing the education sector. If you look at training and the universities, you don't take any allowance. You go to school without being paid. But with the teacher and the nursing trainee, they pay them something because then they want more people to find their way in the teacher training. They were making the teacher and the nursing trainee lucrative. to attract more people into the sector. And now we have them in abundance. Every year, I can tell you, the number of people who apply for the nursing, for teaching, they are more than other fields because they've made it so lucrative. So I realized that somewhere in 2013 or so, the alawa was scrapped, and then it brought a lot of challenges. I mean, there were instances where they said students, the number of people who enroll in the teaching and the nursing training decreased because there was no alawa. Now this is it. I feel like students in the teacher and the nursing training are equally the same as students in the university. So if this alawa will be scrapped and then it will be used in something meaningful, I'm not saying the alawa they are paying the students are not meaningful. It will be used in something meaningful, then so be it. Because does it really make sense if you go to school, you are being paid, and then at the end of the day you don't get employed? I'm just citing something. I'm not saying you taking the money is bad. But you get the money, you are being paid while in school. And that is because they want you to feel so comfortable and learn, okay? But the thing is, does it mean that the students in the universities, they are not feeling so comfortable? Does it mean that the students in the universities, they are different? No, it's equally the same. It's equally the same. So if the students at the universities are able to complete without them taking alawa, then students in the training and the nursing colleges can also complete without taking alawa. The issue is that it will be a bit difficult because bibia something that they've started with you, okay? It's like every time you ask your mom for money, whether she has it or not, she doesn't tell you the truth. She gives it to you. Even the day she's struggling, she doesn't tell you that, oh, my child, things are so difficult, okay? Even how we will feed is a problem. Let me use this money to venture into a business so we can earn a living. They don't do it. They just give you the money. And so in your mind, my mom is rich. In your mind, my dad is rich. And so you don't understand why your dad should tell you that I don't have the money when you ask it. So that is it. Something that you started with. I mean, you've pampered the child with that. And then at the end of the day, you are telling him or her that I can't continue. It will be a disaster. But this is it. They've laid down the reasons why they want to scrub the alawa. And that is because they feel like it's a waste. And I feel because of the alawa, even the number of people they enroll in the schools, there's a cut-off number. So if a government training college is enrolling about 3,000, 4,000 plus of students in a year, government is supposed to pay all these 4,000 students every month. And that is huge. Every month. And anytime they don't receive that money, they will protest. Because you said, I didn't force you. You brought it on board and you said you are going to pay me. You are going to ease my burden. And it goes to a time I feel like the government is not being fair. Why will you be paying student trainee, teachers and nurses, and then you forgo those at the universities? Are we not the same? Is it not the same head? It's the same head. So why will you give a teacher, trainee, student alawa, and then the university they enjoy alawa bia? So if this will be scrapped and the money will be diverted into expanding the schools, employing more teachers, so that at the end of the day, she will be employed. It is good. I feel like it is good. But it depends on how you receive it. I know some people are not going to receive this thing well. They are going to draw different meaning to this. But per my understanding, I feel like it will help. I remember during the first time of President Mahama, he said he wanted to scrap the alawa so that he will use the money in building more schools, more infrastructure, so that when they are done with school, they will be employed. Because we need the alawa more than the job. And sincerely speaking, if this alawa is being scrapped and the money will be used for its intended purpose, then it's good. Because I feel like it is more meaningful, it makes sense when you are done with school and the job is waiting for you. You are not the one running, chasing after it. The job is rather chasing after you. That will make sense. It is only after this alawa is being scrubbed and then you don't see it, then we can hold them accountable. We can hold them by their own words. Because you said this is the reason why you are doing this. Why are you not doing it? And as I said, it differs from each of us and how we reason or how we think. Some people will not take this lightly. They'll find every possible reason to stop this from happening because they see no reason why government should scrap alawa. But for me, I feel like the alawa should be scrapped. So that when you are going to school, you know that there is nothing like alawa. Then you get yourself prepared. Then that money will be used to build more schools. So that when you are done with your 4-year term or your 3.5 year, you get a place to work. And then he mentioned something that I was so happy. And then based on the recruitment, it was as if they are just recruiting teachers. But he mentioned something that they will want to look at in the schools and then find out the teachers or the subjects that they are lacking teachers for, and then they employ teachers based on that. I feel like that will really help because when you go to some schools, we have about 3 social teachers, 5 math teachers, 5 math teachers, 6 science teachers. While we have other subjects that do not have, the professional teachers to teach. And so you see a math teacher being forced to teach a different subject. You will see a teacher that was trained to teach French pushed into teaching another course. It doesn't mean that you cannot teach science, you cannot teach English, or you cannot teach social. But so long as you went into the university to major on a particular subject, I feel like that subject should be given to you to teach. Because you look at all the subjects and then you felt like this is what I can teach and teach well. And so that should be given to you. So I feel like when that happens, it will help. Schools that are lacking teachers for some particular subject will get those teachers and then they will be employed. Rather than employing everybody at all, pushing them into the schools, giving them subject that they don't really, they are not so into it. And that is why you have some teachers coming into class and as if they are being forced to teach. They don't really care whether you understand or not. It's none of their business. So I feel like this is very good. And for the alawa, please, if this is the reason, then it should be scrapped. But the money should be used for its intended purpose. Thank you for making time with me on Debbie.
Miss Debbie, for that girl. And thank you too for joining us on the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. We're going for the news shortly. Stick and stay with us.
Are you ready to amplify your business or brand's reach and make a meaningful impact in Ghana and beyond? Partner with Ghana Talks Radio today to connect with a diverse audience across Ghana and beyond. Elevate your brand through on-air promotions and social media. Boost your brand during prime time. With Ghana Talks Radio, you can extend your reach across digital platforms. Ghana Talks Radio is not just a station, it is a community hub where your brand becomes part of the conversation. Join us in fostering connections, celebrating culture, and making a lasting impression. For customized sponsorship packages and enquiries, email contact@GhanaTalksRadio.com or call +233 202 544614. Ghana Talks Radio, giving the youth a voice.
What do you want for breakfast? How do you want your breakfast?
English breakfast, French fries,
Koko Nikosi, alo komi kesheto.
wache.
Well, Gobe is the real deal.
Join us on Ghana Talks Radio. Let's serve you a buffet of breakfast.
From news headlines review, current affairs to social issues.
Entertainment, sports, and all the trending stories live on our mobile app and across all socials from Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
With me, Pakwesi Omare.
Regina Bless.
Deborah Adoso.
And I am Esinal Fiagbedu. This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show.
We bring you local news, business news, international, sports, and entertainment news. Right here on GTR.
Hello, good morning and welcome to the Ghana Talks Radio Morning News live from our studio and across all social media platforms. To some top stories this morning, Ghana has taken its deforestation fight to United Nations Forum, with officials vowing to sustain the crackdown on galamsey across the country. On the political front, minority leader urges government to address cocoa farmers' payment delay and economic hardship. In education, the Ghana Education Service is cautioning heads of senior high schools implicated in examination malpractice ahead of the 2026 WASSCE theory papers, stating that offenders risk sanctions and removal. Former Nyaso Member of Parliament Dr. Dixon Adumako has accused government of rebranding an existing program after 36 million allocation for specialist training under the Mahama Care Fund. In the Ashanti region, police says 4 suspects arrested for illegal mining in the Krobo Forest Reserves will be prosecuted despite alleged attempt by local NDC officials to secure their release. On the business front, the National Petroleum Authority says over 250 fuel stations and 8 depots will be captured under the 24-hour economy plan. We'll take you through the details right after this. Ghana has reaffirmed its commitment to tackling deforestation and galamsey on the global stage, with Lands and Natural Resource Minister Emmanuel Amakofibo outlining key national initiatives at the United Nations Forum on Forest in New York. Speaking at the forum, he highlighted forest plantation strategy and its red strategy as central to the country's effort to restore degraded landscapes, expand tree cover and reduce carbon emission. He said the policies forms part of a broader push to balance environmental protection with sustainable economic growth. Ghana's participation at the United Nations Forum comes as countries face increasing pressure to meet climate and biodiversity targets ahead of COP30.
I will invite the representative of Ghana, the Minister of Ghana. You have the floor, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, distinguished delegates and gentlemen. Ghana aligns itself with the priorities of this session and reaffirms its strong commitment to sustainable forest management. In Ghana, we have 10 commitment into concrete action on 3 key global forest goals. First, in the last year alone, through our innovative flagship Tree for Life Restoration Initiative, we mobilize citizens and residents of Ghana, schools, businesses, and communities to plant over 30 million trees through reforestation, enrichment planting, tree on farms, and assisted natural regeneration drives. And we are not stopping there. From 2nd of June this year, at the start of the rains and the planting period, we will commence this year's edition to plant additional 30 million trees. Second, Mr. Chairman, we have woven trees into the fabric of our farming systems. Under the Ghana Cocoa Forest Red Plus program, a climate-smart agroforestry initiative, we have integrated native tree planting into cocoa landscapes to boost yields, strengthen farmer resilience, while still being able to lock in measurable carbon benefits. Mr. Chairman, in August 2025, Ghana issued its first flight license, becoming the first in Africa and second only to Indonesia globally. That means that every timber product we now ship to Europe carries verified proof of legal and sustainable origin. That is transparency, that is accountability, that is Ghana leading by example. We have also intensified enforcement against illegal logging and mining, and we are diversifying forest finance with bold, creative instruments. And we have aligned every stride with the UN Strategic Plan for Forest 2030. We are proving that restoration, protection, and smart financing can work hand in hand. So this morning, I want to invite you to work with us under the renewed canopy of Ghana to safeguard our legacy for posterity and to do right by our planet. I thank you very much.
Minority leader Alexander Penyo-Makin has called on government to urgently address the concerns of cocoa farmers, citing prolonged payment delays and worsening economic conditions in farming communities. He stressed that persistent delays in payment, combined with rising input costs and inflation, were eroding farmer incomes and threatening the sustainability of the sector.
Minority Caucus began a tour of cocoa farms in the central region to engage with farmers to understand the various concerns they have. We started at Aguna Biapa and we've come to Nsonai. We have two more farms to visit to hear first hand from the farmers regarding this cocoa farm gate reduction of farm gate price. You may recall that the NDC promised in opposition that they were going to increase the price per bag to 6,500. They came into office, they increased it to just 3,500. From the 3,100 they came to meet.
Education Service has issued a stern warning to heads of senior high schools implicated in examination malpractice. The caution comes ahead of the theory component of the 2026 West African Senior School Certificate exams. Speaking at a press briefing, Ghana Education Service Director General Professor Ernest Kofi said the service will not tolerate any form of cheating. He added that invigilators and supervisors caught assisting students to cheat would also face disciplinary sanctions. This forms part of measures by Ghana Education Service and the West African Examinations Council to safeguard the credibility of this year's WASI as candidates prepare to sit the theory papers.
I urge all supervisors and invigilators to maintain highest standard of professionalism. Those who are caught aiding cheating will be severely punished. I wish to remind heads of schools that are consistently cited for examination malpractice to change the narration this year, or risk being changed. Because if you cannot change the situation, then we will change you. The situation will change you. So if you were cited 3 years ago, you were cited 2 years ago, your school was cited last year, then you have no chance this year if you are cited again. Then it's clear that you cannot change the situation. So we will change it, or the situation must change for us to get others to come and help us improve the situation. I wish to remind all supervisors and regional directors of education that all teachers and supervisors who were linked to examination malpractice last year and are being processed for sanction are banned from the examination centers. they are not supposed to come near the examination centers. They are also expected not to have anything to do with the entire examination process, including marking, to educate the Ghanaian populace on the harmful effect of examination malpractice. Our regional education directors in all the 16 regions led this sensitization exercise across the whole country. I urge all students to prepare well for the examinations. There is no need for them to panic. There is no need for them to fear, because the examination questions will come from their syllabus or curriculum. That means that
Former Member of Parliament for Anyaso Utom, Dr. Dixon Adomako, has described the 36 million set aside for specialist healthcare training under the Ghana Medical Trust Fund as a scandal. The fund was established to support specialist medical training and improve access to advanced healthcare in the country. However, the Member of Parliament argued that the initiative is not new, criticizing the allocation as a rebranding of program already run by the Ministry of Health and other agencies. He said the move creates a misleading impression of a fresh intervention while diverting attention from the need for greater transparency and accountability in health sector spending. The Ghana Medical Trust Fund was launched earlier this year to mobilize resources for specialist training, equipment, and treatment for complex conditions.
It's a scandal. Really? Let me tell you that it's a scandal. In all seriousness, a rebranding of things that were in existence that the NDC had thrown out. And outside this specialist training thing, it used to be there that doctors who wanted specialist training, the government was supporting it. So it's not new. You are repackaging something. And Mahama was the first person that scrapped it in his last administration. Really? So this whole thing is a scandal, and I feel disappointed that, you know, that, okay, let me professionalize it. I feel deeply disappointed. You know, I mean, let me say this on TV. Hypertensive care, for instance, is part of the NHI's program. Is known to us. You've spent more money doing paperwork on hypertension than providing medications to the ordinary people. I would have thought that we'll strengthen the existing programs, not try and recreate something new. The recreation does not strengthen what we already have. We're here making a case that antihypertensive medications that are expensive, roll them onto the NHIS, and then make it readily available to more people. To say the least, the drug prices of amlodipine varies from producer to producer. Okay. I would have hoped that government tells us that, listen, we are upping the prices for hypertensive medication so that prescribers can now write more, better, good antihypertensives for people. That for me would have meant more, and I would have welcomed it than this charade about nothing. And I respect the whole thought that has gone through, but listen, we're lying to Ghanaians. Really? We are lying to Ghanaians.
Ghana's High Commissioner to South Africa, Benjamin Anani Kwashi, says the Ghanaian mission will proceed with legal action over recent xenophobic attacks unless the situation is resolved in a manner acceptable to Ghana. Speaking in a live interview, he said the mission will proceed with legal action unless the xenophobic attacks were resolved. He accused some local officials of fueling the attacks and cited cases where Ghanaian businesses were allegedly seized and handed over to South African nationals despite valid documentation. The remarks follows a wave of violent incidents in part of South Africa targeting foreign nationals.
Well, under the circumstances, we have to push him to do what is right. He needs to rather uphold the law. What he was doing was just populism. Now he's aware that there's a law that he needs to uphold, and I'm sure that whether we trust him or not, which we believe that he would have to do the right thing, and he would definitely do it. No. We are not standing down any of these promises until we see that the issues are resolved and resolved in a way that is acceptable to us. Then we can withdraw these things. But all other measures that we want to use, we are not withdrawing. We are not standing down.
The Ashanti South Police Command has vowed to prosecute 4 suspects arrested for Galamsey in the Krobo Forest Reserve despite alleged interference by local National Democratic Congress officials. The arrests were made during a joint anti-Galamsey operation in the reserve. According to the police, 2 excavators and other mining equipment were seized at the site as part of ongoing effort to curb illegal mining activities in protected forest areas. The incident adds to growing concerns over political pressure on security operations targeting Galamsey in the Ashanti region.
Inside forest, inside the Honan Kasano, Yakoche machine 9, Yana war forest inside the home, Dano, ya Omu Agi, Yawana Jacobu, ya Odoto Bri, Chairman, or Nen call for 2 Kai by, and Galamsey Nina, or to Galamsey Nina, your chain, and Omubaka say, or Mona do Omu Abesheho, and Team Penny Forte, into Yenai, Sa Adumana, ya. So the answer Adumana, ya, Abina Swadi Huma. Ya opese sebi ewu no kese na eto oman no eto atwa ni ha ye bechi wo na ye so mmekata mena no so na afi kura de ye ba ye no de ye hunu kura de ne ye chense ne de anche se okon no mu ayedin ti ye so ye sempanyimfo se wo mu fa hoden no nta ya chi ni ntimi emfa nya dwuma no aha ye ginen kobroko ni mu ni wuti na mu be me ensa nan ya wohu kwan nti koko ye da ha ye ene o madini sai kwan mu na o masie abasa nso to sesi aka betumi abomuni ya ebekum nipa ya de ye me kase na besa abre aban no ena mesrem no mpanyimfo na ya wo mu hihye chire na ya ye kwachi obi a na wo mu abase wo mu ye mpanyimfo na wo mu wo aban mu nti ye nya sai nipa no uja no so no ye ka chen se o mekata mena no so a na se wasa be ye de chen first no ti mesre aban se onhwe na sa ne ma ni nyina no o mu hwensi ano se ye bebo o man mu ni nyina na boa enchidima na ya ye ban.
In business, the National Petroleum Authority has disclosed that 268 fuel stations, 8 depots and 2 refineries across Greater Accra, Ashanti, Western and Northern region will be captured under the phased implementation of Government 24-Hour Economy Program in the downstream petroleum sector. Speaking at the launch of the pilot phase of 24-Hour Economy in the downstream petroleum industry, Chief Executive of the National Petroleum Authority, Godwin Eduji Tamaklo, highlighted the transformative impact of the initiative on operational efficiency, fuel distribution and economic activity within the sector. Presidential advisor on the Government 24-Hour Economy also indicated that the rollout of the pilot program in the downstream petroleum industry is expected to unlock productivity and support increased economic output. To sports, GCB Bank has donated $5 million to support the Black Stars preparations for the 2026 FIFA World Cup, becoming the latest corporate institution to back Ghana's campaign for the global showpiece. The donation was presented to the Minister for Sports and Recreation by the board chair of the bank, Joshua Alabi, during a presentation ceremony. The contribution adds to growing financial support from corporate Ghana and private stakeholders as the country steps up preparations for the tournament to be hosted by United States, Canada and Mexico. In recent weeks, engineers and planners owned by businessman Ibrahim Mahama pledged $2 million already paid into the official fundraising account. Stanbic Ghana has also committed $3 million to support the Black Stars World Cup. Newmont Ghana has also supported the campaign with $500,000. Government has assured transparency in the handling of all contributions, with the Ministry of Finance confirming that donations are being paid directly into the official 2026 World Cup fundraising account at the Bank of Ghana. The Black Stars under head coach Carlos Queiroz are preparing for their 5th FIFA World Cup appearance. In showbiz, Ghanaian cinema continues to break boundaries as Vibes the movie has secured an official nomination at the prestigious Toronto International Nollywood Film Festival. The latest international recognition marks another proud moment for Ghana and stands as a strong testament to the creativity, originality and global appeal of Ghanaian storytelling. Directed by Big Gun and starring Jeffrey Norte, Vibes the movie evolved from the hugely successful social media series in which the beloved characters captured the heart of millions with their unique blend of rap, comedy and relatable stories centered on everyday struggles and ambitions of Ghanaian youth. The film has already brought honor to Ghana on the international stage, most recently winning our outstanding achievement at the American Motion Pictures Festival in the United States. The Chronicle noted that the film was recognized for its originality, craftsmanship and storytelling impact among a competitive pool of global entries. With a nomination, Vibes the movie continues its remarkable journey from the streets of Accra to some of the world's most respected film platforms. The nomination highlights the growing global appreciation for authentic African stories and reinforces the significant mark Ghanaian filmmakers are making in international cinema. As Vibes the movie files the Black Star High in Toronto, Ghana celebrates yet another cultural achievement that showcases the country's talent, resilience and storytelling excellence to the world. On global update, local council and parliamentary elections began on the morning of Sunday, May 10th, in several districts of Somalia's southwest state as part of the direct electoral process based on the one-person, one-vote system, as what is being described as the first such step in more than 57 years. Abdul Karid Ahmed Hassan, chair of the National Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, officially announced the launch of the local council and parliamentary elections in the state, affirming the polls represent a significant milestone in strengthening public participation and consolidating the democratic system in the country. 15 political parties are participating in the parliamentary elections with a total of 394 candidates, including 322 men and 72 women. Meanwhile, 18 political parties are contesting the local council elections, which are being held across 13 districts, feature 1,297 candidates, among them 122 men and 275 women. The Commission stated that candidate registration procedures and eligibility verification were carried out in accordance with the National Electoral Law and approved regulatory frameworks, calling on political parties, candidates, media outlets, and the Somali people to preserve transparency and security to strengthen confidence in the electoral process. At the same time, observers have spoken of the imposition of unwanted candidates in the region. In the contest, Somali activist Adil said the Somali street is not demanding impossible, it simply wants fair elections. In a post on Twitter, she indicated that what is taking place in the aforementioned regions raises serious concerns. This election comes at a time when southwest Somalia is grappling with security turmoil following the federal government's exclusion of local security forces, placing the region before major security challenges. Last March, Southwest State announced it will suspend all forms of cooperation and relations with the government in the latest indication of tensions within the fragile federal system in the Horn of African nation. Officials from the state accused the federal government during a press conference of arming militias and attempting to overthrow regional president Abdulaziz Hassan Mohammed. Hassan Abdullahi Mohammed, spokesperson for Southwest State, said the decision followed a comprehensive investigation into the latest movement by the federal government in the region. He added that the federal administration had, in his words, recruited and financed recognized militias wearing the uniform of the National Army and operating in areas of Southwest State. The spokesman explained that the state viewed these interventions as a threat to the unity of the region and the existence of its population, prompting it to immediately suspend cooperation and coordination with the federal government. He also accused the central government of using national resources to weaken the authority of the state and exploiting cabinet ministers originating from the region to achieve political interests at the expense of local stability. The official noted that the decision came after several failed attempts to resolve the dispute through dialogue between the two sides, stressing that the escalation represents a new challenge to federal government effort to manage the political process and prepare for upcoming elections. Somali Affairs expert Abdul Wali said the Southwest State suspension of cooperation with the federal government carries profound political implications that goes beyond a mere administrative dispute and reflects structural challenges within Somalia's federal system. In remarks, Ashak Al-Wasat added that the decision indicates relations between the center and the federal state remains unstable. He pointed out that the new crisis broadens divisions within Somalia and underscores the urgent need to resolve them swiftly, as the repercussions could create security vacuums exploitable by groups such as Al-Shabaab, while also diverting military effort into political conflict. In 2024, the state opposed the federal government's plans to withdraw Ethiopian troops, with Ethiopian forces serving under the African Union peacemaking missions. In June 2025, 3 federal states, Portland, Jubaland, and Southwest State, announced the severing of ties with the central government, accusing it of violating constitutional laws and regulations governing relations between the center and the region. Most recently, Southwest State President Abdulaziz Hassan Mohammed announced last week the suspension of relations with the Somali government, accusing it of fueling local conflict in the stated following clashes in Bardau, the regional capital. Meanwhile, observers have spoken of attempts by the president and the federal government to manufacture crisis in Portland and Jubaland with the aim of weakening security and enabling terrorist groups Al-Shabaab and Islamic State. The Poland is currently waging war against the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria and faces escalating security challenges amid intensifying military confrontation with the organization. At the same time, Somalia is witnesses witnessing a political crisis that has reached a peak of tension as a decisive historical moment approaches. The 4-year term of President Hassan Mohammed is set to expire on May 15th. With no clear timetable for upcoming elections, the opposition led by the Council for the Future of Somalia, headed by former President Sharif Sheikh Ahmed, accuses the current administration of attempting to cling on to power and manipulate the democratic process. And that's it for the morning news update on Ghana Talks Radio. Stay tuned for more news throughout the day. I am Deborah Adoso. Good morning.
Are you ready to amplify your business or brand's reach and make a meaningful impact in Ghana and beyond? Partner with Ghana Talks Radio today to connect with a diverse audience across Ghana and beyond. Elevate your brand through on-air promotions and social media. Boost your brand during prime time. With Ghana Talks Radio, you can extend your reach across digital platforms. Ghana Talks Radio is not just a station, it is a community hub where your brand becomes part of the conversation. Join us in fostering connections, celebrating culture, and making a lasting impression. For customized sponsorship packages and enquiries, email contact@GhanaTalksRadio.com or call +233 202 544614. Ghana Talks Radio, giving the youth a voice.
What do you want for breakfast? How do you want your breakfast?
English breakfast. French fries.
Koko Nikosi, alo komi kesheto.
Wache.
Well, Gobe is the real deal.
Join us on Ghana Talks Radio. Let's serve you a buffet of breakfast.
From news headlines review, current affairs to social issues.
Entertainment, sports, and all the trending stories live on our mobile app and across all socials from Monday to Friday 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
With me, Pakwesi Omare.
Regina Bless.
Deborah Adoso.
And I am Esina Fiagbedu. This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show.
Ghana Talks Radio, #1.
This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show, your morning companion.
Morning to you once again, and you are welcome to the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show right here on Ghana Talks Radio. This is the second segment of the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show, and as you know, we come along with knowledgeable guests who are going to be delving into the issue. This morning we have interesting topics that we just can't wait for our guests to share their opinion and dive into the main topic for discussion. This morning, remember that we are streaming live on Facebook at Ghana Talks Radio, on YouTube at Ghana Talks Radio, and also on X at Ghana Talks Radio. Do all to log on, send in your comments, and get interactive with us right here on the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. For this morning, we have our NPP communicator already seated in the studios, and he can't wait to delve into the issue. This morning, as part of the topic for discussion, we'll be looking at the value for money bill being passed. Is this a new era or transparency, or just another policy? Is it just another policy because we've seen it before? Right. And also the rising cost of rent and hostels as well. Students are complaining and then urging the government to come to their aid. Those are some of the issues we'll be looking at this morning. This morning I have Mr. Abdul Mutalib, the NPP communications team member, seated right here in the studios. Why are you shouting A?
It's abomination.
How is it an abomination?
In fact, I'm very happy you were able to ratify it earlier. Yeah. How can I be NDC communicator?
But there's nothing wrong with it if you're an NDC communicator.
There's everything wrong about it.
Why?
Be NDC communicator means that you are just like a replication of liars. Yes. So I can't belong to that community.
So does that mean that the NPP communicators don't lie?
We don't lie.
Are you sure?
Yes.
You've never lied before?
We don't lie. Even if any of us have said something that turned out to not to be true, probably maybe that's individual. But as for NDC, it's part of their gene. They are trained to do so.
I see.
Yes.
Hope you are doing well.
What do we have to say if we are not doing well? We are in the system that we've been faced with a lot of stress. So,
with a lot of stress.
So yes.
What are some of these stress?
We have to sleep in heat, under heat.
Oh, you had light out yesterday.
In fact, don't say it's too much.
You had light out yesterday.
Yes.
Where'd you live?
That's Abosokai.
Oh, okay. So there was light out yesterday.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Sorry
about that.
We slept. In fact, the worst of it happens around 1 a.m. till now. Even till before I came, there was still no light. So what it meant is that you have no option than to sleep under the heat, because if you come out, you and then mosquitoes will face boot for boot. So it's better to be under the heat and be sweating than to come out and contract malaria.
I'm just hoping that it will get better in the coming days. Just as they said, they are fixing some transformers, and they said we should give them an ample time of 3 months, and within 3 months they will be able to sort out their issue. So we are just hoping that they will solve that issue, and the issue of Dumso will be a thing of the past.
So thing of the power is that it's always NDC that when they come to power, there is Dumso like that.
But during the previous administration too, there was issues like power outages.
Yes, but not Dumso like this. Not to that extent. Since when did this started? Since when did this one start?
During the previous administration, we saw cases where lights went out in the morning and came back in the evening.
That's not true.
That's very true.
That's not true.
I was in this country.
True. Please, that's not true. What is only if you say that there was power outages and then that is not true. There has never been, under the watch of MPP government, there has never been a 12-hour lights out in any part of the country.
Are you sure?
There used to be lights off, but not that long period you're talking about. No.
So how
you
many?
can maybe you can prove that with. But what I know is that
was it not in this country that we experienced that, and we asked Napo if it was Dumso, and he said we should.
Yes. So that's why I'm saying that there was power outage, but not to the extent that what we are facing today, and what you are describing as 12 hours straight lights out. No, it never happened. Maybe your personal meter had problem.
How does it have to do with my meter? When the meter is
I'm
off?
saying that
I'm not the only person that experienced this light out.
No, you are the only person. It never happened in this country.
Because
but you say you experience it.
I experienced
it. And so I cannot argue much with you because you experience it.
The workplace
I'm saying that it never happened in this country.
But the workplace is equally not my house as well. So if you are facing it here, that should also
so
tell
you
that
you meant that it was.
I'm not the only person.
It took 12 hours.
That issue.
12 hours. This under the watch of MPP government, and this facility didn't have light.
Oh, let's be honest with ourselves. During the previous,
I'm saying that there was at a point there were issues, but I'm saying that the extent to which you are describing it is not true.
Ew, I've heard you. Right, we've seen that your party has come out with a committee. How is the planning going?
It's going successful, very well. Yes, I think after presidential primaries, the next thing is to focus on policy making and then other organizations. So you can't just have everybody running up and down and then looking at what to do and what not to do. But you need to put some individuals and then give them specified tasks so that they will be in charge of coordinating and then making of policies across the various sectors. So that's basically what the party has done. I think they haven't finished it. They still have some other committees that will come.
Aside the 30 committees that are already out,
that,
they are still working on some.
Yes. In fact, I think the majority of those committees are going to be the standing committees. They are not committees that are part of. They are not part of the constitution of our party. You know, if you check, you realize that there were some that were the committees established by the party constitution, but others were standing committees. For example, these policy making committees, they are not going to be there forever. They are just temporary. After they are done with their formulation of policies, together with the presidential candidate and incoming president, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, then they will have to dissolve their committees. Yes.
But what is the objective of these committees that have been formed?
Yes, the basic objective is to, for example, if you are going to tell Ghanaians that, look, NDC is having issues with energy sector, even after taking our 1 cedi levy from fuel taxes, we are still experiencing them. So you should have some individuals who are expertise in that sector, so that they will be able, they will understand exactly what the problem is. Then they will diagnose the challenges and then make the necessary recommendation to the candidate that this is the right thing to be done, so that you solve the problem of Dumso. So that's just the objective.
So this is a committee that is actually going to prepare you for campaign and also into the 2028 election as well. Right, we wish you the best.
Thank you.
Now, let's move into our issues. President Mahama signs value for money bill office. President John Dramani Mahama has signed the value for money office bill into law, a move aimed at strengthening transparency and reducing inflated government contracts in Ghana. The bill, assented on Monday, 11th May 2026, establishes a dedicated value for money office that will independently assess public sector contracts, particularly single source procurement deals, to ensure the country gets fair value for public funds spent. According to government officials, the new law is expected to improve accountability and curb excessive spending in state contracts. Speaking after the signing ceremony, Finance Minister Kessel Atto-Forson described the development as a major milestone in Ghana's public financial management reforms. He explained that previously, value for money assessments were handled by the legal division of the Ministry of Finance, which lacked the technical capacity required for detailed evaluations. Under the new law, all single source procurement arrangements will now undergo scrutiny by the newly created office before approval. Government officials believe this will help prevent contract overpricing and ensure prudent use of taxpayers' money. Dr. Atto-Forson also stated that government would begin preparation to operationalize the office by appointing leadership and assembling a technical team. The office is expected to become fully operational by January 2026, and the president has signed to this bill, which also fulfills a part or one of his campaign promise, focus on promoting transparency, fiscal discipline, and efficient public spending. What do you make of the value for money office bill that has been signed, and what is its significance?
Thank you very much, Madam. I will have to first of all extend my greetings to our cherished listeners, and then say also a very good morning to all the members of the elephant family, most especially the youth in the northern region, for their patience, having seen the devastating state of the country that is being run by the NDC government. So, talking about value for money bill, it is something that comes with a lot of questions as far as NDC track records on transparency, and then all other factors as far as our CD spending is concerned. Yes, for example, if the basic idea of passing this bill or laying this bill of value for money is to establish independent office which will be in charge of ensuring that there is value for every city that is spent by this government. Tell me what independent office have ever been in this country and NDC do not sabotage it.
So
and
what you are saying is
how can we trust them if they have sabotaged a lot of independent offices?
What
and
are
they are
some
telling
of these
us
offices
that
the NDC
and they are
has
telling us that they are
sabotaged?
coming to put up an office so that office will be in charge of ensuring value for money in the system.
What are some
Let
of
me
the
tell you
offices?
something.
What are some of
For
the
example,
offices they've
for
sabotaged?
example, you know, value for money has to do with, it's just a way of ensuring that there is low level of corruption. That is it. Accountability and transparency. And everything. So it's just to curb corruption, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then if that's the case, what have they done to OSP office? They have denied him his legal authority. The office has been denied its legal authority to prosecute victims of crime.
But is this the NDC causing all of this?
They did it.
How are they doing?
I'm saying that it's under their watch. They are holding the system.
But are
and
they
so
the
they are
one that
saying that
purporting
they've
it?
asked, they have find their way to ensure that the court has taken the decision solely in favor of the Attorney General
But how
to prosecute the individuals who are maybe found or are guilty of corruption
Mr.
related
Abdul,
issues.
Please, I want you to clarify something. If you say that the current administration is sabotaging some of the independent officers, and then you mentioned the special prosecutor, and I'm asking, how is the current administration actually doing that? Are they interfering into the works of the judiciary?
Have I not made it clear? I said that they sabotage the special prosecutor's office by denying its legal authority to prosecute corrupt individuals.
How did they deny it? Because according to what we have read and according to what we have, the hearing from the High Court, and we are yet to hear from the Supreme Court, how does the NDC come in all of this?
Yes, so I'm saying that this is what they have done. Today, they are claiming that anybody who has been maybe picked up by the security apparatus, which is supposed to be independent on its own, is through their effort to fighting corruption. Is that not it? So if any individual office that is responsible for transparency and accountability as far as corruption related matters are concerned is being sabotaged in that manner, it is still their effort. That is the point. So what I'm saying.
First off, who took this issue to court? Was it the NDC or was it an individual?
Who was that? Even if it was individual, who was that individual?
Who is he?
Who was that individual?
Is the person affiliated to the NDC?
Yes. Who is that person?
How do you know?
Oh, you see, these are some of the things. Let me make my point. Whether the person was affiliated to NDC or the person wasn't affiliated to NDC, the point I'm making today clearly is that the NDC have denied OSP office its legal operational authority to prosecute corruption related matters. You see, the funny thing is they sent that authority to their Attorney General, who has now supervised in the dropping of several corruption related matters involving their top individuals, the likes of Collins Dawada, in the is this housing issues, the likes of the former Maxwell CEO. He has now run away. They are crying about Ken Ofori-Atta. Meanwhile, their own matters are there. They are not talking about it. This is what we are talking about. NDC has been in the position of pure scam. It's just a complete headline they want to make, and there's nothing that they are going to do that will benefit this state. Because if they are talking, if you look at the explanation from the finance minister, he also spoke about ensuring that abandoned projects is taken care of by that office, so that there will not be abandoned projects. Why will you be telling us that you want to fight something that you are practicing? Your own e-blocks. You remember the NDC e-block? When we came, in fact, before they left office in 2016, they left only 29 of them completed. We came and increased it to 50 something. You came almost 2 years now. You have not even started putting block in any of the e-blocks. It's not NPP projects. So leave Agenda 111 aside. We're not talking about Agenda 111 that they have abandoned. Their own e-block, they've left it. So if you are telling me you want to now put office in place to come and check your irresponsible, your insensitivity of abandoning your own policy that or your project that you started and you could not complete, how does that make sense? How can we trust you? Didn't they started when they came to office? Didn't they started telling us that they want to fight corruption by setting up Aura? What did the Aura do? Finally, a member of Aura, in fact, the former Auditor General, said that all that was gathered there was garbage. They said it was garbage. But Honorable Samuel Okujuto Ablakwa promised the good people of this country that they were coming to retrieve about almost 21 billion or 21 million Ghana cedis from the looters, as he claimed. Now, up to now, tell me how much they've recovered. Have they been able to recover 1 million, just one CD? Let's put that one aside and talk about cost inflation issues. How can we still trust this NDC government on this issue of setting up an office to check what they are doing, even when they know that it's wrong? If indeed NDC accept that value for money is important and they need office to be established, then they shouldn't have, which will be aimed at ensuring that there is no cost inflating in maybe contracts or what have you. Then they shouldn't have inflated their big push projects. What are we seeing in the big push project? The four estate exposed them. They caught them right-handed. A road that was contracted fresh with an amount less than 4 million Ghana cedis. You are coming to rehabilitate that road, and then you are coming to spend almost 6 million Ghana cedis on that road, just filling of patching of potholes.
So you don't see the essence of those offers?
What didn't we see from people, offices like GoBoard? If Honorable Sami Jemfi could purchase just a plasma screen at an amount of 8 billion old currency, without thinking, without even having it in mind that there's a need for us to respect the value for CD or value for money, he's now telling us that we should say, we should praise them because they are coming to put up office, so that office will check and then ensure that they are not doing those things. If NDC hadn't done anything that carries court inflated projects, if NDC hadn't done anything that has cleared a lot of or dropped a lot of criminal related cases in this government, under this government, they were having all the moral right to say that they want to establish independent office to check those things. But you don't do what the funny thing is, the finance minister, you cannot be supervising something and you come to tell us that you want to now check yourself. You say that Mr. A is wrong, meanwhile you have picked Mr. A as your best friend, and you want to tell us that you now want to get some Mr. C to come and make sure that he ensure that you don't become friend to Mr. A. Does it make sense?
So you don't see the essence or the significance of this office.
What is going to be the significance?
From your submission?
I've stated it from my submission that
Right.
if there is going to be significant, if there would have been significant, the NDC claiming that this office will make sure that there is no abandoned project. They should have continued their e-blocks projects. They should have continued Agenda 111 projects, so that we will trust them with this particular value for money bill office that they want to establish. In fact, it's just a way of getting a job for their people. Where is the office of 24-hour economy that they established?
Right. First off,
where has it been to?
First off,
it has vanished as we speak. If you go to a 24-hour economist office around 4 p.m., they have closed.
Right.
Now, meanwhile, your promise was to work from morning to night and to the next day.
Right. Mr. Abdul, when they say value for money, how do you understand it?
You see, the basic explanation to what's the name, value for money. I'm not sure I'm here to do any teaching or lecturing, but the basic understanding for value for money is that you don't spend money unnecessarily. You don't let money go waste. That is the basic thing. So when we say that money going waste, where money goes waste is when the Sami few of NDC is buying plasma screen, just a screen for his office at an amount of 800,000 Ghana cedis. Money going waste by government or government officials is when Malik Basantali has decided to allocate 9 million Ghana cedis for just youth in Turkey berry production. That is what we're talking about. Money going waste is when NDC have actually invested some amount of money in certain e-blocks and they came and they don't see the need to complete it. So what will be the essence? It doesn't make sense to me.
Right. Let's read the key objectives of the Value for Money Office Act. And it's designed to reform public procurement by introducing strict spending checks, preventing inflated contracts, eliminates the deliberate inflation and padding of public sector contract sums, targeting wasteful spending, curtails cost overruns, abandoned projects, and inefficiencies across state agencies, increasing physical space, recovers state resources to fund other priority sectors of the economy and the core function of an operation, as detailed by the Finance Minister Dr. Kiselato Forson, that the newly established body introduces dedicated institutional oversight, single source procurement scrutiny. Every single source procurement arrangement must undergo mandatory evaluation. Value for money certificate. The office will issue mandatory compliance certificates before major government projects are approved or executed. Technical independence. Shifts the evaluation burden away from the Ministry of Finance Legal Division to an independent team of specialized financial and technical experts. Threshold reviews. Contracts exceeding a specific threshold will face compulsory referral to the office. These are the functions and the core objectives of the Value for Money bill that was passed on Monday. You are still not convinced of its usefulness to us.
I should have been asking you whether you are convinced about its usefulness to us, because we've just read it. I spoke my mind. I mentioned. Is there any of these things that I didn't mention? Is it the certification because I didn't talk about the certification? The rest of the contract was the name, abandon of projects. I spoke about it. The what's the name? The waste of money. I spoke about it. So all these things, I'm telling you that, in fact, to spend money judiciously, to spend money like relevantly, what you need to know is that stop pushing unnecessary amount of money to stabilize your CD when your youth are recruited at NADMO and then Forestry Commission and they have not been given a single month salary. That is waste of money. Stop pushing money into stabilizing CD when your farmers are struggling to sell their farm produce. That is waste of money. Stop, in fact, buying VAs for cocoa board officials. When there are a lot of people who are walking on the street, a lot of Ghanaian youths who associate themselves to NDC party are walking on the street without job. That is where we are talking about. That's what we're talking about when it comes to value for money. So you don't tell me that you want to establish a body that will fight cost-inflated contracts when you have inflated just is it 107 or 81 contracts with over almost 73 billion Ghana cedis. Doesn't make sense. It's serious matter. No, let me tell you, as for this NDC government, there's nothing you can trust them about. The NDC, they've scammed Ghanaians to the extent that these people, they have done a lot of scam, that to the extent that they are even scamming people in abroad, and they are scamming their own former ambassadors. Imagine this government, this NDC government, want us to trust them with anything that they are doing. How can we trust you when you publish the names of your people you have nominated to appoint them for ambassadors and high commissioners, and later to find out that some of them have not gotten the appointment letter from the Jubilee House? Up to now, they are jobless. How can we trust you? Did you want to tell me that you didn't know the number of countries that you were having? Honorable Moses Mabungban, the former ambassador to Angola, was listed as part of individuals who were nominated for ambassadorial position, and people were congratulating him, only for him to end up that up to now he doesn't know which country he wants to go. Is that not a scam?
Right, Mr. Abdul. So would you say that during the previous administration we didn't see any projects being inflated? We didn't see any abandoned projects?
Why are you interested in whether the previous administration or not? Let me say, even if there was a project under the previous administration that was cost inflated, the previous administration never attempted saying that they want to put office to check them on that guilty act again. So you can't be doing something. You can't be doing something and tell me that you want to now get different people to check you.
So why didn't your administration put those measures in place to fast check, for the sake of transparency and accountability,
it's not as
this
if
amount of money
value
that
for
is
money? It's
being
not as if,
disbursed-
madam, it's value for money. It's not as if there is no a unit that is in charge of ensuring value for money.
Which unit?
It's just
is in
that
charge?
you just read it as it's part of finance ministry. It's a unit under finance ministry, isn't it? So for me, I'm telling you that these NDC people, you cannot trust them. My good friend, he knows very well that you can't trust them, because if you are telling me you are going to establish value for money, we are talking about previous government. Let me tell you, previous government, even if there were something like that, it was the reason why they booted them out. And I'm saying that even if there was something like that, I'm not saying that I agree. I'm saying that even if there was something like that, that was why the Ghanaians booted them out. And then they brought NDC only for them to overbloat contracts, go and buy plasma screen at 8 billion old currency. Subhanallah. May Almighty have mercy on this country.
Mr. Dodo, finally,
yes.
You are here.
I'm here. Sorry, it was a little bit of traffic.
All right, that's fine. We're actually on top of issues already, and we are already into the value for money. What do you make of it?
Good morning to all our cherished listeners and those who listen to this wonderful platform. Then I extend my leg to the people of Ablekuma South, where I represent. Honorable Dr. Alfredo Van der Poel and our Deputy Communication Director for always giving me this opportunity to be on air. It is very simple and basic understanding about the value for money bill. You see, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama promised the people of Ghana on our campaign train that he will establish the Value for Money Act. To what? To watch contracts that are being inflated in this country, and that is exactly what we are doing. Yes, now, see, people mishandle government finances, and that is what we want to check. The economy, efficiency, equity, effectiveness, sustainability. So sometimes when we are giving time on air to talk about the economy, we should know what we talk about than to sit on radio and embarrass ourselves. What do we want? We want substance. We want prudent economy. We want fiscal discipline. That is why we are doing this. And I will ask my brother that he should tell me. I can give him my time on air. Where did the National Cathedral money go? Where did it go? He should tell us on air.
So you believe that if there was such an office, we wouldn't see such money being pumped into an abandoned project?
Exactly. Because certificate before contract, value for money certificate before contract. That is what you are. See, I will always applaud His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and Dr. Kesela Atufor for what they are. This is economic prudence. He should once again tell me, where did the National Cathedral money go? I'm giving him the chance. I have given him my time. He should tell me in simple statements, where did it go? My brother, tell me where it went. The National Cathedral money, the SkyTrain money, tell me where it went. You understand? So when we have this office, it will definitely check this kind of inflated projects. We should stop the culture of inflating projects in this country, and that is very simple, simplicity. You see, so when a government or a system is being put in place to check these things, we shouldn't fight it, but we should support it. What my brother is doing here is basically fighting it, and that is not good. The people of Ghana understand what the value for money office will be meant for. That is why everybody is supporting this program. Understand? We have promised Ghanaians that even one city counts. One city counts in every instance, in every contract. We will check and make sure that this reckless spending that the previous government did, we won't do that.
We won't see that again.
Come again?
We won't see that.
Exactly, we won't see that again, because I gave him my time, and I said he should in one statement make Ghanaians know what they did with National Cathedral money. He can't. You see, so when you come on radio and you embarrass yourself like this, and you can't even state in one sentence what you people, the previous government, used the National Cathedral money for, then what are you telling me? You are a party communicator. You should tell me what you people use the National Cathedral money for, what you people use the SkyTrain money for. But you can't, and you are here. You understand me? So we shouldn't fight certain things. We shouldn't fight things that will help the system. You see, the MPPs are not even good in opposition. See, it will get to a time where the CPP will be even effective than the MPP in opposition. Because what they are doing is merely disgracing themselves at opposition. See, you should be very effective, but they are not being effective. We are not seeing what they are doing. This is not what we did when we were in opposition. This is not what we did. The MPPs are not learning. This is not what we did. If we did same in opposition, would we have won power? No. But the people of Ghana have entrusted us to do what they duly want. That is why we are here. That is why the value for money bill has been assented to. You understand? Excellency John Dramani Mahama is an evidence of good governance. He's showing. See, let me tell you. It's funny when you see these MPPs trying to oppose this act.
Yeah. What is the significance of this Value for Money Act?
To check inflated contracts. We don't want in any way for government officials to loot. Crony capitalism marked as development, which they did. We don't want it in this era. We don't want it. That is why the bill is being passed. You understand? So if you are a contractor and we give you 1 cedi, you will account for the 1 cedi. And that is what Ghanaians want: accountability, transparency, and improvement in our economy. Yeah, you people preached guidance of economy. You preached guidance of the economy. What did we do? What did you people do? Reckless spending. That is what you did. So if we are trying any way to fix your mess, you should allow us, and also tell Ghanaians that what the NDC party is doing is good and they are on the right course. But you shouldn't be here and embarrass yourself here because you don't understand what the Value for Money Act is. You will be here and say what you like because you have been sent to come here to say what you want. But Ghanaians know what they deeply want from the NDC government. That is why we created this act.
Do you think that this act should have been created long overdue? Because during the previous administration, we saw some cases of projects being inflated as well, such as the Palugu Dam, which was budgeted for $993 million, but there was zero output in that. We also saw the issue of the National Cathedral, the airport COVID-19 testing deal, and also the vaccine procurement, and also district road improvement program. And I don't remember, you also remember the 13th African Games in Accra, which was organized by the Ministry of Youth and Sports, and where $4.5 million were allocated for games management. And then we saw where a tag for the athletes cost almost about an amount of money. I don't have the real figures, so I wouldn't want to mention something that will cost me. So looking at all of these, do you think that creating this office is actually going to prevent us from inflation and also soft corruption?
It will definitely prevent us. You see, Dr. Kesela Atuforsen is one person who preach discipline in our economy. So definitely we will enforce that. See, all these things you labeled, it was a cause of reckless management from the MPP government.
No checks and balance.
What did they do? They spent recklessly. Palugu Dam, $12 million. Dr. Baumia, we should be asking that from Dr. Baumia. He should be answering what the National Cathedral money was used for. I've given him time on air, but he still can't prove. We should tell Ghanaians the MPPs are not serious. They are not serious in government, so we will never let them come close to the corridors of power because they are not serious people. In quotes, I can label them as political scammers. Look at the hole they dug. Ghanaians are in crisis. People want job, and you dig this kind of hole, spend recklessly, and you will be sent to come on air to defend your cause. See, this is not propaganda. Sometimes we shouldn't just come and do propaganda. We should face the real fact. NDC is on a good course. That is why, in our own mind and our own governance, we thought it wise to bring this act to check government officials who do not want to go along with it. Those will be punished. See, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is not here to joke. So this bill will really do the checks and balances in our economy,
especially when it comes to projects.
Yes.
So that means that this bill will be just for projects and other infrastructure as well.
Other like the big push we are talking about.
Okay,
you can't inflate.
So the value for money will look
through that. You can't inflate. They inflated. Let me tell you, the World Bank brought a report for the Wejagbawi, their hospital.
Yes, it was inflated.
It was 11 times inflated.
Yeah.
By the MPP people. That is why it's still not under operation. We know them and we know what they are capable of doing. See, we are not just here to do propaganda. I'm not here to spew falsehood. The Ghanaians people know what they did. NSS scandals, a lot of scandals. Dana Samwa, a musician was given a contract. How can you give a musician a contract? How can you give a road contract? Is he a contractor? No. He is a king. He is the king of Galamsey. We know. You understand? So when you people do this, you don't expect Ghanaians to align with you. We won't allow you this time. And NDC, we have a principle: truth. We speak truth to the people of Ghana. We let them know what we are actually doing. That is why Honorable Kesela Atuforsen, in his right wisdom, and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama are together to make this thing happen. by 2024, by 2027, everything will be set up. We will scrutinize effectively, and will bring equity to the good people of Ghana.
Right.
So my brother, whom I have given time to tell me where the cathedral money went, and still he can't tell me. This is pure embarrassment on radio. This is pure embarrassment on radio, SNM. You understand me? So they should allow us to work, and we are working diligently for the good people of Ghana.
Right.
Yeah.
Mr. Abdul, you mentioned that you don't see the significance of the value for office bill. Is there any other recommendation you recommend to the government rather than bringing this on?
Yes,
board?
before I talk about the recommendation, I think that that is why, and it's only today that I begin to understand why our teachers back at basic school used to cane us for coming to school late. It has implication. My senior brother here came to the studio late, so he has nothing to offer to our audience, but only to just build on emotional responses and then start speaking what he felt that is okay for him. But that's fine. Let me tell you something. Another thing I've realized is that it appears you reminded my opponent what the MPP government did. But what they are just doing right now, by what is just done by NDC right now, you fail to remind him. Are you also NDC communicator? No, I'm only asking you.
I'm just
because if it's not, I've not disputed that. But I'm asking you if you can remind him about cost inflating project and the MPP, and then you cannot remind him about what is just happening right now, what is just in front of him. Honorable Sami Jenfi buying a plasma screen at an amount of 8 billion old currency.
Do you have any news?
Please, I have. Yes, I can show you evidence. I can prove to you. I have the evidence. I can send it to your.
When we are
please,
you see when see, this is not propaganda. Everything was labeled out. He said we should go on the net. He gave every details out. So what are you telling Ghanaians? See, sometimes when we are given the chance to speak for our party, we should be very truthful. Because Ghanaians are watching you. You don't know who is even watching you in your party. You understand me? So you can go ahead. I gave you time and you couldn't even.
Please, let's allow
you to see. I respect individuals when they are on a submission. So even when you were calling, I knew a lot of things I could have said a lot. But I respected you and I asked you to. I kept quiet for you to continue. But if you have decided to interject, that is fine. I'm not a trained person in such character. But let me tell you something. Whether a vulture catch a fowl or fowl catch a vulture, if there was a catch inside, I'm telling you that there is evidence that Sami Jenfi inflated just buying plasma screen that could cost less than even 40,000 Ghana cedis to amount of 8 billion old currency. You fail to remind the NDC communicator about it, but you are only interested in Palugu multipurpose dam, even when the current energy minister was interviewed and questioned, and then he was like, oh, from our check there was no any amount of money released to the contractor. Vindication is indeed in the womb of time. Some of these things that happens, I feel that it's rather the media that is helping the NDC to continue to deceive Ghanaians. My good friend here is sat here. Just all I don't even know what he said, but only thing I heard is he was financial economic prudent. Economic prudent is when you refuse to inject huge amount to stabilize CD, but use the money to recruit nurses who are seated in the house. In fact, financial prudent is when you have all your NADMO workers, all your forestry workers that you recruited just as you came to power, being paid, not seated. In fact, your national security apparatus being paid. That is economic prudent. Economic prudent is when you are able to post teachers automatically as you promise them. They are still demonstrating. It's economic prudent is when you are able to pay your workers who have worked for 12 months all their arrears, but not one. Economic prudence is when you are able to create one job, 3 people, 3 shifts. Economic prudence is when you are able to secure what's the name? Clearance for recruiting more than 50,000 teachers, as the education minister promised, but that it was by the end of 2024 that will happen. If indeed this economy was doing well, all these things we shouldn't be talking about them here. But if you are talking about cost inflated and what have you, has he forgotten? He's saying that this big push, nothing will happen. It's as if he doesn't know. He doesn't even know what his government is doing about on a big push. Rehabilitation of road is costing us almost what's the name? 4 billion Ghana cedis. And you are telling me that it won't happen. Something that you are doing. Trust me. Look, like I said, NDC they are just scammers. And then my problem is not the NDC. My problem is the media. It appears the media is helping NDC to continue to deceive Ghanaians. Because if you know that, why will you tell me economic prudence? Why will you tell me that there is good economy when you cannot even pay cocoa farmers that you bought their farm inputs? Only suggesting to cut it by a very huge amount of money. Economic prudence is not when you come to stadium and then decide to say, oh, Mama is doing well, Mama is not doing well, but or Mama is not here to joke. The economic prudence is actually when you are able to establish Women's Development Bank as you promised. In fact, before what's the name? Before President Nana even spoke about, even talk about the this thing, free HS bill, he had already announced the program and it was in place. It's not about signing the bills. It's about allowing the systems to work. It's about, in fact, getting the jobs as you promised. You said 1 job, 3 people, 3 shifts. Where is it? You see, we are not jokers here. We are rather not joking in this country. If you think that Ghanaians are happy with you, continue. In fact, I have a lot of your friends. Look, if economic prudence is when you give EPA workers appointment letters of 9,033 Ghana cedis as their salary, and then they are gone through training, posted, and they are still standing by that same salary, but not to give them an appointment of 9,000 cedis salary and then monthly salary, and then only for them to finish their training you are posting them, you are giving them 3,800 cedis appointment letters again. What is scam? Economic prudence is when you are able to actually fix all the people you nominated as ambassadors. You put Moses Mabungba as ambassador, nominated ambassador or high commissioner. Where is he today? His letter has been missing at Jubilee House. So what I'm trying to say is that this value for money, because he came late, he doesn't know. If we can trust NDC with this value for money office that they want to establish, they should demonstrate by clear practice of what they are preaching. For example, they left their own e-blocks abandoned. You should tell me. You people, you were telling me to tell me to tell you National Cathedral money. What you claim you were setting up operation recover all the loot to recover the loot from National Cathedral. How many months now? What is happening? You awarded under President Mahama administration 1. He awarded contract to said me that activist, that NDC activist. Was he a contractor? Car branding. That even led to scandal. Was she a contractor?
When we are on, all right,
are you getting me? So you see, when you get opportunity, when you rather get opportunity to speak, don't be interested in just praising the people. You are in government. Tell the people what you are doing. You are in government. Tell the challenges you are facing and the plans you have to solve the problems. But you don't come and speak as if you are still campaigning. That truth. What is the truth when you promise Ghanaian youth that when you are going to recruit a lot of security so that they can be that ratio, that match ratio of security to citizen, and then it will allow the 24-hour economy to run, only for them to come and then after they apply, you are telling them that you don't have enough clearance to recruit. Is that economic prudence?
Right. So
if not lies, what is that? You can't lie.
I won't award a contract to a musician than a Samoa who is not a contractor to construct our roads. Huge amount of money. What are you telling me? What are you telling Ghanaians? See, it is a shame for an MPP communicator to be on air to think that our value for money is a scam. What are you saying? See, don't you feel for Ghanaian people? Don't you feel that people inflate contracts? And what we the NDC want to do is to stop that thing. But you are here on radio to support a cause from the MPP because you have been given some transport to be on air. You have been given some transport and a data money to be on air. So you are proud of it. See, Ghanaians are wise and Ghanaians are smarter now. That is why we the NDCs, we don't come on air to deceive them. See, value for money is very important. And it's not only in Ghana. Go and check Singapore. Go and check UK. Go and check the US. This thing is happening there. And they have value for their money. See, in this era, in these times, one cedi counts. I'm telling you, without facts.
Mr. Dodo, how sure are we that the NDC setting aside this office is actually going to be transparent as possible? Because they are going to be leaders. Obviously, human beings also going to be there. What is the assurance that these people are not going to be influenced?
You see, these are independent people that will be situated there. The value for...
And even that you trust they will not be influenced.
Exactly, we trust. Come on. That is why I'm saying that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama in these times is not here to play. So when you are not competent enough to be at a position, we will never put you there. You know, Honorable Kesela Tufosin is a very disciplined man, a very honest man. So we will never put anybody in a position where the person will still be influenced from another person. No. See, the value for money is already at the Ministry of Finance. It's a part, it's a portion at the Ministry of Finance. But we want to make it very active.
They mentioned
we were giving them the requisite, things to go with.
They mentioned due to technical challenges.
Exactly. So we are creating an office that will help.
When I was making submission, you claim you didn't know that there was something like
No, under the ministry, they said they had a.
Why are you interjecting?
I'm only asking.
They had technical issues.
I spoke first, and she was like, she was asking me whether there's something like that. You read it, and when I was speaking, you asked me, was there anything that is there to check the value for money? You claim you didn't know about it.
And you said,
I said you read it.
I don't know about it. You said you
and I said you read
that question, and I said
we let him continue.
When I asked you a question that where did you use, where did the cathedral national cathedral money go, you couldn't answer. So allow me and don't interject. Ghanaians want to listen to me. See, this is what we want to do. Prudent governance is all we are known for. Because you see, I believe in Dr. Kesela Tufosin and what he has sent to Parliament. And, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has assent to it. Ghanaians are witnessing good economy. Today, you yourself, when you were coming here, what is your transport fare? You understand? Because fuel and other things have reduced, you are enjoying good and stabilized economy. This is not borrowing. We are not, IMF is not running from, see, it got to a time, IMF was running from Ghana. Investors were running because the system wasn't stable enough for them. Today, everything is going smoothly, and this value for money bill would also help to make sure that prices or project prices are not being inflated, and that is what we want.
Right.
See, the World Bank has issued a report on the wage agbawe. I felt very bad saying that. What does it it brings a lot of problems to the country. It makes the country feels like it makes the government feels like we are not working because you have been given a contract and you've inflated it. Would we get another aid again when you inflate contracts?
Mr. Dodo, how different is this from the Procurement Act we have already?
The Procurement Act is very different from the value for money. The procurement, they will procure, or they will give you the certificate to do that. But this is mainly the value for money. We will give you a certificate before you do everything you want to do. The contract you are being given, we will make sure that the amount or the pricing is not being inflated. That is what we will do. But the procurement, they give you a chance to go and procure. So when you go and procure and you bring any amount, it's the amount that you brought to the table. You understand me? But this one, after you are being given the chance to procure, the value for act the value for act is there to check whether the prices are being inflated or not.
Right. Let's read
so that is what
let's
what
read the
do.
Procurement Act. The Procurement Act says that the primary legislation governing how government, ministries, departments, agencies, and local assemblies acquire goods, works, and services, and the regulatory frameworks, primary pillars, and updates managing procurements are broken. So now it's enacted to harmonize public spending and ensure states' resources are used judiciously at 663. Establish the Procurement Act to regulate and oversee the procurement landscape, and the core principle governing the act are transparency. Procurement processes must be open and clearly documented. Accountability. State entities are answerable for all allocated spending. All qualified suppliers and contractors receive equal and non-discriminatory treatment. Competitive bidding is a standard default requirement for the procurement. So this is what the Procurement Act is saying. Now let's see how different this is from the value for money. The Public Procurement Authority and the value for money are different regulatory bodies, and the primary difference lies in their focus. The PPA regulates process and fairness, ensuring that the state buys goods and services according to strict, transparent legal steps, and the value for money offers assess cost efficiency and economic value, ensuring the state pays a fair market price and does not overspend. So primarily, the core objective of both of these acts is that the PPA is to ensure fairness, competition, and transparency in tendering, whilst the value for money prevents inflated contract sums, cost overturns, and waste. How the PPA states that how the state buys compliance with procurement laws, and value for money is how much the state pays. Justification and market pricing, procurement approvals, supply registration and audits for the PPA, whereas value for money, mandatory value for money certificates for major projects. So that is the distinct difference from the PPA and also the value for money. But looking at these, in as much as they are similar,
there is a difference.
In as much as they are, don't you think that we could have actually strengthened the PPA Act to infuse the value for money in this, Mr. Abdul?
Well, strengthening this thing is one thing that, or a good thought that somebody can raise. But before I respond to that, my senior managers made a lot of comments that I think that need to be corrected. When you question about individuals are going to be put in the office, can they be influenced and other things? Respectively, I've always have a particular standard. Let's respect our audience. The audience, they have the conscience to judge what we are saying here. Some of them even understand things that, look, as human institutions as we have, there are individuals that can be influenced. Admit that way. Whether the person is NDC or MPP, admit it that way. Don't sit and say, oh, that won't happen. To extent that you are even telling us that NDC government or His Excellency John Dramani Mahama will not put a wrong person in a particular position. Subhanallah. When he kept fake doctor before him, fake medical doctor before him,
was he sanctioned or not?
I'm telling. So why will he in the first place? Why will she in the first place be put there? Who expose, if you're not different individual identifying and exposing the person, and then they realize, no, by now the girl would have been at post. Dr. Sana, the fake Dr. Sana. You people have a lot of fake doctors, but you are sitting there telling me that you don't put wrong people at where. Please, respectively, some of these things sometimes it do happen, not because you deliberately want it to happen. I'm not sure His Excellency John Dramani Mahama deliberately picked a fake doctor. But maybe due to some maybe mistakes that were committed in the time of recruiting the person. They didn't check some things and just accepted the person. These are all things that can, factors that can bring the influence or inefficiencies that she was asking about. Immense as we are, anybody can be influenced. Don't say that you don't do this when you have records of putting fake doctor to take care of our president. Please, my brother, respectively.
Was the doctor supposed to take care of the
He
president?
was medical doctor to the president.
She wasn't to take care of.
Oh, I'm telling you,
was
what
appointed.
As what?
Appointment doesn't mean you are taking care of the person.
As what? She was, wait, ask him, what was she appointed
of? Doctors.
We can actually read into
what are you saying?
Oh.
Appointment doesn't mean you are doing anything.
Good, simple. I don't have problem with you. What was he appointed to do? Tell me. Tell me and the audience.
Appointed to be part of a board.
Stop.
She was appointed to be part of a board.
Stop exposing. Some things are there. You don't respond.
Well, if you don't know,
you are going to be exposing yourself so much.
If you don't know,
why was he even appointed in the first place?
If you don't know,
granted without admitting that he was not there to
talk about it.
Granted without, I'm telling you, she was one of the personal doctors to Dr. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. You can check it.
So she was appointed, but not appointed.
And for what? Tell the audience what was.
Mr. Abdul, please take your time. Let's.
Can you read? No, see, sometimes I respect everything that I say here. So I'm careful. I'm saying that. The president, for the president to have good. So even not. Good. So even if it's not, I was making my point. He's interjecting. Why don't you tell him to stop?
Mr. Abdul.
I'm saying that I was raising my point, and he interjected. Why don't you tell him to stop?
Please.
I'm saying that.
No, wait. Listen to me. You made a point that the doctor was appointed to take care of President John Dramani Mahama, and I asked the question: was she appointed to take care of President John Dramani Mahama? And you said yes. So now let's read it. This is actually from CTN Ghana Web. In May 2025, President John Dramani Mahama revoked the appointment of Anand Asana Delhi, also known as Anand Salsa, to the Board of National Health Insurance Authority. So she wasn't appointed.
No. Before that, let me tell you. You see, you cannot blackmail me. Before that, you can check, you can read out. Before that, the guy. No. The guy was. See, don't be laughing. The lady was. Personal physician.
Do you know what she was doing? You are just rushing to speak. You are just rushing to misinform.
Can he respect
you?
You
Understand? What are you doing? What are you saying?
Can you respect yourself?
To mislead.
Can you respect yourself?
She was just appointed to be part of the NHIS board. That is it. Why you saying she was appointed to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama? What are you saying? Why are you misinformating? See, sometimes we are not here to spew falsehood.
You see. Please, can you respect yourself?
Not because of propaganda.
It's not as if when you were speaking, I didn't know what to say.
You should be a gentleman.
I think you should put him to order.
Be a gentleman.
To respect the rules of. If it's my time, and then I cannot. I'm saying that if it's my time.
To order.
No.
So now let's.
You waited, he finished, and then you are saying that
so let's clarify this.
I'm saying that before the president appointed her, who was she? She was physician to the president, the former president then.
Do you have any news?
Do you have any proof to that?
Because from what I have,
I don't understand.
She was appointed to be a part of the National Health Insurance Authority and was.
That was the appointment that was revoked. That was the appointment that was revoked.
So
picking somebody as your personal doctor, you don't necessarily need to give the person appointment letter.
So you are saying that she was the president's personal doctor.
Yes.
That's what you are saying.
Yes.
Do you have any news story to that?
For example, let me read this from Ghana Web.
I can read it so that we all.
Yes, from Ghana. We just read the key details. Read from the key details. Read. No, wait. Let him read. Allow him to read. Allow her to read.
The fake doctor recently linked to John Dramani Mahama is Anand. Now, these are the claims. Public concern arose after reports and social media posts alleged she was a medical professional. Some posts even claim she served as personal physician.
No, read it, please. Let me read it. Please, I know what I'm reading. Please, madam. Let me read it. What you are reading is what was on the.
We are reading from your phone.
Come on.
No.
We are reading from your phone.
I know. I read it before I gave it to you.
I read it before I gave it to you.
So let me.
I'm not allow you to read anything that is not.
I will not allow you to I will not allow you to lie. I will never allow you to lie. What are you saying?
I thought you kept.
You have read it.
Let me read it.
You have read it.
Read what
you have read entirely clearly shows that what you are saying.
Please, can you
let me read it. So the claim
I wish you can take the screenshot and I will share it with your listener to share it on the.
So the claim here is that
I'm saying that I wish I can take
reading the key details.
Mr.
Abdul, take your time.
Can you share it with the? Can you share it on your distance, your media space, so that they will see it? I'm telling you what you are reading. It's not what is on the phone.
We are reading from your phone.
You see, if this continues, personally, I will have some. I will have personal reservation. Maybe to avoid some of these
Mr. Dudu, Mr. Abdul.
Please be fair in your job.
Good.
Honestly.
Let me be fair. So let me read what I have. So they claim public concerns arose after reports and social media posts allege she was a medical professional. Some posts even claim she served as a personal physician to former President John Dramani Mahama. Government representatives, including Felix Kwasi Ofosu, have refuted these claims, stating she was never Mahama's doctor and has never had a personal encounter with him.
So what is it?
So how was she appointed?
How do you understand?
How was she appointed? You see, let me tell you. Let me tell you. Let me tell you something. You know NDC when they are caught red-handed, how they behave. I'm telling you that.
Don't be here and embarrass yourself.
So let's get it clear. So let's get it clear. The claim has been refuted by Felix Kwasi Ofosu. She was never a personal doctor to the president, and they've never had such an encounter.
It's not true. It's not true.
I just
it's a complete no.
You see, I just hope when you are called, you'll be able to answer.
On a more serious note,
madam.
On a more serious note. Yes. I can be called by anybody. If in this country they can arrest people for just saying that Dumsa is back, why would I be afraid to say that NDC have take doctors?
In my entire life, I
always allow decency.
Calm down.
But morality is what ensures that there is decency when there is conversation.
Calm
like
down.
Please,
Down.
I'm saying that.
Please calm down. See, you made a statement, and we have clarified.
Let me tell you. No, it doesn't make the conversation like fair. It doesn't make it fair.
It's actually right.
For you to you speak from things like it's not just today. I've observed something consistently. It appears you've always want to do something to favor my opponent. I think that even it's true. Look,
so I shouldn't fact check.
It's not about fact checking or not fact checking.
I shouldn't fact check.
You see,
you made a claim and we've read it together. I read mine and you said you don't trust it, and you gave me your own. I read it.
And so what
and you are still saying that. So what are you saying?
Madam, you see.
Oh,
look,
don't
I'm
do
not
that.
I'm not just a kid.
Please don't do
I'm not
that.
just a kid.
No,
you can't just fool me. When you are. I asked you here.
No.
First, when I was talking about first, look at. Do you know where my conclusion? No, do you know where my conclusion? Do you know where I drew this conclusion from? First, when I was speaking and I spoke about that the fact that there was already a unit that was found under the Ministry of Finance taking care of value for money.
We will ignore that. It's fine.
You were explaining.
It's okay.
Explaining what the responsibility was. When I was talking about
Mr. Abdul, let's proceed.
Are you the host?
Please let's proceed, okay?
You are not the host.
We've clarified.
Well, don't worry, I agree. You have a referee in your side, so don't worry.
Let's proceed. We've actually clarified.
The game is fair.
We've clarified.
I agree. I'm now 1 against 2. So let's go.
We've clarified what you said, and we now know the truth. So it's fine. Let's proceed. I think on that note, time is already fast spent, so we'll be done with that particular topic, the value for money offers being signed. We are just hoping that it's not going to be another deja vu. We are hoping that it's going to be a better one. Now to our second topic for discussion has to do with the issue of rent. Ghana's growing rent crisis has become a major concern for many citizens, especially low and middle income earners struggling to secure decent accommodation across major cities such as Accra. Tenants continue to face high rent charges, illegal advance payment demands, and increasing housing shortages. Although Ghana's Rent Act prohibits lawyers from demanding more than 6 months rent advance, many tenants are still compelled to pay 1 to 3 years upfront due to the country's housing deficit and intense competition for accommodation. Recent concerns have pushed the Rent Control Department to introduce reforms aimed at protecting tenants and improving transparency in the rental sector. These include the nationwide introduction of mandatory rent cuts, stricter enforcement against landlords who violate rent laws, and proposals to establish a stronger Ghana Rent Authority through a new rent bill currently before Parliament. So according to housing experts and government officials, Ghana's housing deficit, estimated at more than 1.8 million units, remains one of the key drivers behind rising rent costs and landlord exploitation, with wages struggling to keep pace with accommodation costs. Many Ghanaians say the burden of rent is becoming unbearable, increasing calls for urgent government intervention and affordable housing policies. I believe you've already seen the Rent Control Commissioner, Mr. Frederick Opoku, moving from hostels to hostels, seeking their opinions and getting to find out that some people are paying more than what they're actually supposed to pay. And hostel managers or landlords are adding utility bills to their accommodation fees, which is actually not supposed to be so. So this is it. How is rent issue in Ghana, and what can the government actually do? Mr. Abdul.
Well, as for this particular topic, respectively again, I think I will not, even no matter the external forces, I will not react to it. But I want to plead that let's be decorous in our conversation, so that once somebody is speaking, you allow the person to talk, and that will make it smooth, and our audience will enjoy it than we just shouting and making noise, especially when you see somebody raising something against your side. But I think as for Ghana, when it comes to rent issues, just as the government officials admitted, there are issues of this housing deficit. And when you observe, you realize that the former president, His Excellency Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, launched 8,000 housing project in Accra here. And before he left office, he was able to, even having faced a lot of challenges like COVID-19 and then Russia and Ukraine, which the opposition NDC then touted that it was never the reason why Ghana is suffering today. They want us to accept that Iran, Ukraine is the factor affecting the fuel stability and other issues that they are going through. He tried to complete about, I think, 320 somewhere around Tesano, just to keep this housing deficit. And then that is one of the steps that the previous government took. It is my worry that the NDC have paid that year to most of the projects that were started by the former government, His Excellency Nana Addo Akufo-Addo administration. For example, the Agenda 111 project. If they continue that also to the side of state housing sector, it will not be something good to us. So for me, I feel that as a country, one important thing we should know is that despite the constitutional guidance that is there to protect the tenant and what have you, check the rent control and what have you, it will be difficult, because as humans as we are, though the constitution will work, but as humans as we are, I will build my house, you have come to stay, then all of a sudden you are sending me to court. Well, you will win the case, and I will come and sack you. So because of that, tenants are even afraid. Because if you take legal action against your landlord and succeed, you finally may lose the accommodation, and then you become stranded. So because of that, they have to just keep quiet and allow the landlords to bully them with high cost of these rent charges. But when it comes to the schools hostels, for me, I feel that it is the government that is not helping as much. Because when I say it's the government that is not helping as much, for example, look at SNIT. If you check across the various institutions, for the institutions I know, for example, UG, for example, Navrongo CKT University, they have facilities like that. And then when you check, you realize that their hostels are even more expensive than any other hostel, private hostel that is around there. You understand? Meanwhile, you are doing investment, not just investment to make money, but to also support the schools and then the students. And it's like almost every year they increase, or almost every 2 or 3 years they increase hostel bills. But for the struggle now, it's not just because it has not been there, but it is because of, or it is an indication of high cost of living in this country. Though my senior brother, when he comes, I know he will not agree. He will say it's not true, but there is high cost of living. Why? Because I am coming from a farming community. What we farm largely is soybeans. I have a junior brother who is in university at UDS. This guy used to pay for his rent at 2,000 Ghana cedis. Now he's paying somewhere 3,600 Ghana cedis. In fact, that wouldn't be a problem if indeed the soybeans that we plowed and then we used to sell 800 cedis per bag, we're still selling it same amount or even more. But now we are selling these soybeans at an amount of 400 cedis. In fact, the maximum is 450 Ghana cedis. What it means is that if I was selling 5 or maybe 3 bags of soybeans to pay as a farmer or as a farmer's child to pay my rent, I will now need more of it to pay the rent. And probably the harvesting, the productivity is not. In fact, even with that, to get somebody to buy, it's not there. So that alone can bring the hardship. And some of these also some of these what is the name? Some of these owners of the hostels, some of them are also investors in agric. You understand what I'm saying? So maybe at the end of the day, they take monies from the rent, the tenants, and they invest it into agric. Finally, they harvest. They are not able to sell. Do you think that they will not see the need to also increase the hostel bill so that it will cover up the loss that they are going to make in their investment? Definitely, it will. So for me, I just want us to come to a very honest conversation that, look, the current state of Ghana, we can pretend it's not good. So that just as the president promised that he's coming to make sure that he reduce the hardship in the country, it is so. But if we pretend to be like, it's okay, it's okay. In fact, just last week, I was watching a video on TikTok. Then one NDC activist was just lamenting. I'm sure somebody said that he was not NDC member. He was lamenting as NDC member, but I'm sure somebody said he wasn't NDC member. Later, he came out with another video and then showed his pictures, his rare pictures with the late Mutala and other guys in that t-shirt, how they were going for this thing. That is an indication. For example, you have what's the name? A landlord who has been given maybe employment by this government as forestry officer. 12 months, the person hasn't paid. Where do you think the person will get money? But if the person wants to pay his electricity bill, it's high. If the person wants to pay his student school fees, it's high, but he has a hostel. The best is also to put the cost on the tenants so that he'll get the money to take care of those things. So these are the things that the government, in fact, even if government cannot build houses, like cannot invest in state housing currently, but what he should be doing is to ensure that this hardship is reduced.
It's reduced.
By stabilizing the economy.
Right. Mr. Dodo, how does the government come in?
You know, like you rightly said that the rent commissioner has been on his toes.
Yeah, on grounds.
going to campuses. I saw his video at KNUST. I saw his video at Legon, and I applaud the good work the rent commissioner is doing, because in previous years, when the MPPs governed for 8 years, we didn't see any rent commissioner doing this for us in our beloved country. He was talking of University for Development. I am a graduate from the University for Development Studies. I started in 2014, completed in 2018. In 2014, I was in Smith Hostel, precisely Nyankpala campus. Our Smith Hostel fees were low. But before 2018, it skyrocketed.
Why?
Was it the doing of the government?
So would you say, as individuals, we are part of the problem?
You understand me? Was it the doing of the... No, it wasn't the doing of the government. We know some individuals have such behaviors that when they see a lot of people coming to campus, they just inflate prices. But that is not the doing of the government, that you say that because the government hasn't stabilized the economy, that is why people are... University of Ghana had friends who were there. They set a committee called the UGL. What did they do? They inflated prices. They protested against it, but what? It wasn't. They didn't even listen to them. So I thank His Excellency John Dramani Mahama that he has appointed a rent commissioner who is not sitting in his office, but rather in schools, checking what hostels managers are doing to the good people of Ghana, the students in question, because parents are suffering. Even though the economy is stable, still people are struggling to at least make ends meet. You understand me? Even though we know that things are down now, but still, there are some people they are trying their very best to put their kids in schools. That is why we will not sit in our offices to say that why are you increasing hostel fees? But it's on the ground to make sure that things are being resolved. Hostel fees are being reduced significantly. That is what good governance means. We are not sitting in our rooms to say that, why are hostel fees skyrocketing? You understand? So we shouldn't label it on the government that the government is the one making all these things happen. And you were talking about plowing soya beans. See, let me tell you, the fertilizers have been reduced. So definitely, when you used to buy fertilizer at 50 cedis, you are now buying it at 10 cedis. How do you expect to sell your... Sure? Yes, I am very sure. Fertilizers have been reduced. See, what you used to buy, if you go and check an iPhone, those days we used to buy iPhone 11 at 3,000. Now we are buying it at 2,200. Meaning prices have been reduced. Fertilizers are being reduced. So if you used to buy fertilizer at 50 cedis and now you are buying it at 10 cedis, I'm stating an example. I'm not saying precisely that is how they are being sold, but so I'm saying that exactly. But there have been reduction. You don't expect to go to the market and still sell farm produce at higher rates. I hope you understand me. Yes. Fertilizers can be reduced drastically and you will produce and sell at higher rates. You are killing Ghanaians. You understand me? So if you are a farmer, we have also been there before. We've been to the north. I have stayed there 4 years of my life. So I understand the games. I understand the game there. I understand the farming business there. So don't sit here and act like you are the only person who have been to the north and you have done farming. I did farming as well. So I know the prices of fertilizers. I'm into poultry production. I know the prices of fertilizers when I buy them. At first I was buying it at higher prices. Today I'm buying it at lower prices. So my chickens are being sold at lesser prices than it used to. You understand? So when we are on air and we are speaking, we should be truthful, like what I am doing now. It is true. I'll reduce the prices because my fertilizers I don't buy it at higher prices. I will not kill Ghanaians. So what His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is doing is very good, because for a rent commissioner to leave his office to go to hostels to make Ghanaians know that this is how you need to charge. You have to get a rent certificate. You have to get a rent card. Wow, we didn't see this in previous years. You understand? I never knew a rent commissioner until now. I never see. You can attest to the fact that you never knew any rent commissioner until today. That we have good governance. That is when you know a rent commissioner. That is when you know that if your landlord is even worried, you can go and report to rent control.
Yeah.
today we have this kind of governance, and the NPPs are the only people complaining about it. The NPPs, typically, that is how I would say.
But away from politics.
Yes.
We know that rent is expensive.
Rent is, nobody is disputing the fact that rent is expensive.
Rent is expensive.
Even in Accra,
and it's even hard to get even a place.
You know.
And if you get a place, they are telling you should pay 2 years in advance.
You understand? That is why we are preaching.
So where does the government come in?
That is when the rent commissioner is in charge of this. That is why we are preaching.
Is that alone enough?
That alone is not. We are not saying that.
So can the government come up with
enough.
an affordable house? Because we saw the Saglement, but we don't know what happened to it.
What you know, I'm not disputing the fact that rent is not high in this country. Rent is high, it's very high. But all the same, we are doing what we can do to make sure that the public know. You see, when there is public awareness, it makes people educated on certain things. That today, if I go to a tenant, a landlord, or maybe I have a hostel facility, I won't be charging unnecessary price on hostels. I remember when the commissioner went there, he asked them that, do you have your tourism certificate? You don't have. But what are you doing? You are extorting from students who are not even working. How can they afford? You see, that is the plight of, that is what we are worried about. So if the government is trying its best, we are not saying that we are getting everything perfect. No, that is not what I've raised my hands. That is not what I'm telling Ghanaians. Right. But I'm saying that we are doing something. The government is doing something. The government is on its toes. Others came, and we didn't even know a rent commissioner in this country. Tell me that you ever knew any rent commissioner in this country. Today you know. So at least government should be applauded for what it's doing.
Thank you, Mr. Dodo. Yes. Now to the hostel facilities. We've seen that in Legon, there are actually halls where students occupy those halls without paying exorbitant prices to be able to get accommodation. But as it stands now, we have private hostels who are even charging more. 2 in a room, and you are taking 3,000 from each person. That is too much. So where does the government comes in, especially with the student hostels?
Yes. For government coming in with student hostel, I think he has to invest. But I'm just laughing, not because there's anything funny, but see my senior brother, he's talking as if he's actor. I don't know whether he's in that industry. He's talking he's good. But see, the serious thing that we have to look at is it not mockery for rent commissioner to be roaming from school to school? For you seeing like rent commissioner roaming from school to school? How is it? It's mockery.
How?
It's mockery because there's nothing that can change about it. Myself and you have been to school, and we know how it operates. For example, you are telling me I need some requirement to operate, isn't it? I will say, okay, I don't want the requirement. I don't want to operate. I've closed my hostel down. The students have come to study. Where are they going to enter?
So where does the
where the government should come in is investing into like school hostels that you're talking about.
So the government should be
doing those things. But if you are telling me the commissioner is roaming, he's going around to mock he's just doing mockery to the students. He's just mocking them. Because if you have burdened the people, the students, parents with hardship, that is the challenge they will face.
So you think no results can come out of what the rent control is doing?
Tell me exactly. Predictably, tell me exactly what will come out. The thing is that, you see, the way school hostels are, individual owns it. I can decide to give it out or not to give it out. If I give it out, it is to my benefit. If I don't give it out, it is my law. But the major implication will be on the students, isn't it? So if you are talking about it, I'm saying that these things are as a result of the hardship you are facing, and you are saying that because fertilizer was low and high and now low, whatever. Let me tell you, the narrative is different. I agree. If you ask me today whether fertilizer has been reduced, I will say yes, but to how extent? Not drastically, as he said. It's not drastical. For example, somebody was buying fertilizer at 550 Ghana cedis. He's now buying that fertilizer at 500 cedis. Hasn't it reduced? Hasn't it reduced? It has reduced, but it's not. That is the exact. If you want, you can go to any agri inputs of what's the name, store and ask. Fertilizer is cost at what's the name, 500 Ghana cedis. That is fact. I buy some. It's not like somebody. I'm not making an assumption. So imagine. In fact, soybeans doesn't even take fertilizer. It's maize. Now, assuming I'm a maize farmer, and then I used to sell maize at 700 Ghana cedis. Then I buy fertilizer, a bag of fertilizer at 550 Ghana cedis. I will sell how many bowls do I sell to buy one bag? Is that not one and still have remaining balance? Now, if I'm selling the maize at 280 Ghana cedis per bag, in fact, the highest 300 Ghana cedis, how many bags did I need to sell to buy one bag of fertilizer at 500 Ghana cedis? That's the correlations we're talking about. So if you want to say that and somebody's, I'm not poaching because it's not only in the north. I'm only citing my situation and people who are also into the crops I'm farming. But just look at cocoa farmer. A cocoa farmer who used to sell a bag of cocoa beans at 3,000 Ghana cedis. It's not selling it somewhere. In fact, not even up to 2,600. It's not up to 2,600 Ghana cedis. Such a person, his electricity bill has been increased. His water bill has been increased. His student school fees has been increased. So what exactly are you talking about? In fact, he's facing doom, so he has to buy generator at high cost. So what I said, for me, NDC, they are just here to scam us.
Right.
We should not allow them to blackmail. They have already scammed their way into power. We should not allow them to continue to deceive the good people of Ghana.
Right.
So will I have my time to rebut?
No,
I have to get my time to rebut.
We are done. There
No,
will be no need for you to
rebut. Just.
Thank you so much for joining us.
I respect you.
Thank you so much for joining
I'll give you 1 minute
on
so
the
that
Ghana Talks breakfast show.
Can't you give me 1 minute?
Before we leave, your last words.
My last words are that we should be very watchful of those who come on radio to spew falsehood because they've been sent by their party. We know in this country that fertilizers, a lot of fertilizers are not sold at 500 cedis, some are sold at 200 cedis and even 100 cedis. We know. Myself, I am a farmer, so I understand these political games. So what I just want to tell audience that we shouldn't in no way allow MPPs to propagate falsehood. We should learn from what the government is doing and we should stick to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dudu. Mr. Abdul.
Yes, my last word is that the NDC has scammed their former ambassadors. The NDC has scammed Ghanaian youth. The NDC has scammed the Ghanaian women for women development policy. The NDC has scammed to extend that their majority caucus MP has been arrested for scamming. In fact, international body, they practice it in Ghana and then they are now doing export of scam. So for me, NDC Ghanaian youth should prepare and then pray hard. They should prepare for hardship, but pray hard for the intervention of His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to come and rescue this nation. Thank you.
Right, thank you so much. Thank you too for joining us on the Ghana Talks breakfast show. We had such an amazing time right here in the studios. Thank you too for joining us. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the viewers. Thank you for the listeners as well. Thank you so much. We'll meet same time tomorrow. Do have a lovely day.